Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
Love sports.
Sports.
When it comes to
Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men. We will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
Coach Elko's my guy, right? Like, I love him. I love Michael Early. Like, I think Bucky's going to be incredible.
It's football, man. And that's what Warriors do. They don't want to sit out.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
Well, welcome into our National Signing Day coverage brought to you by Holistic Planning. It is TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers in the Rollo Insurance Studio. We call this hour the Go Hour, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. You know how the show is going to work. We're going to have some analysts at the desk. Brauninger will be here. Billy will be here. We'll have an appearance by Jamie McCoy, Brandon Leone, and a bunch of people calling in the program as well. So far, 15 people have signed. That's right. We have now 15 new Aggies. I'll see if I can take a look at some of them. Aaron Gregory signed very early this morning. Victor Singleton signed. We've got Jermaine Kinsler, Caden Johnson, KK Johnson. We got Chance Collins. We've got KJ Edwards, official. We've got Tristan Givens, Zaden Krempin, Avery Morcho, and Evan Jacobson, the tight end, Jaden Warren, Tylen Wilson, Tamarian Watkins, and Bryce Perry Wright. All that, and we still expect some more this morning. We'll go to the desk now as Ryan Brauninger is our obviously recruiting analyst slash guy knows everything. Bronny, let's get into it, man.
You've clearly been influenced by a certain person that you had a phone call with right before the show started.
That being said, I mean it. You do know a lot about a lot.
No, thank you, David. Yeah, exciting day. We say in the recruiting world, this is our Super Bowl, and so you wake up at 5 o'clock, and it wasn't shortly thereafter that Aaron Gregory was the first signature in, as you mentioned, and continuing to monitor stuff this morning. Jason Howell has been on the road already. He has stopped in at Duncanville. For those of you that are been tracking the KJ Ford updates, it looks like he is going to stick with the Gators. The Florida's coaching staff, John Summerall, and their new GM were able to pull a lot of the A&M momentum back yesterday, and it appears by all intents he is going to sign with the Gators and stick with his commitment after there was some real A&M momentum over the last probably couple of weeks for that one. Florida does a good job of getting their ducks in a row and getting them over the finish line.
All right, I do want to talk about Holistic Planning. Our National Signing Day coverage is brought to you by them. Signing Day is all about trusting the right people to build your future. So let me ask you, Aggie, something. If your financial advisor isn't an Aggie, can you really trust them to understand what matters to you most? And if they're not giving back to NIL, you got to wonder if they're a 2%er. The guys at Holistic Planning are Aggies serving Aggies with true holistic financial planning. We're talking investments and tax planning under one roof. They actually see a complete picture, not just bits and pieces like most advisors. And here's the thing to love. They put their money where their mouth is. A percentage of their profits goes directly to Aggie NIL. They're not just talking about supporting the program, they're actually doing it. If you're an Aggie who expects nothing but the best and you want advisors who bleed maroon and white, you need to set up a meeting to see it's fit by visiting holisticplanning.com. And also throughout the show, we're going to be showing you highlights of all these athletes signing here at Texas A&M. These Love Ya Bum highlights are brought to you by Lucky Number 8 Productions. Love Ya Bum is a new sports documentary about the great Bum Phillips. In a few moments, we're going to be joined by Jamie McCoy on Zoom on the Puppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. All right, so 15 early signees. Look, since I've been here at TexAgs, I don't remember that many as we start the show. Maybe it's happened in your time here, but for me, that seems like a big number this early.
It does feel like it's increased in number from previous years, but if you go back to what signing day was when I first started working here and the pomp and circumstance that surrounded it. Remember, we used to go live from 7 to 8 and have no commercials. And that was a time when a lot of these signatures were coming in at 5 or 6 in the morning, and we would have an entire show to try to get through all the signees. But This kind of reflects a little bit to me Mike Elko's strategies and kind of the intent that he has with his recruiting, because he's a doer, right? And we know that about him. And I think that they want to, and they've made pushes to get all these kids in as early as possible and try to eliminate any lingering drama.
So we've got a couple of signees. Storm Miller just signed a few minutes ago, and Tank King a few seconds afterwards. So we've got the latest on those two.
Yeah, Tank King, it's a pretty good timing considering who we'll be talking to here at the bottom of the 8 o'clock hour. His dad will call in for the show to talk to us about Tank's recruitment and his development. And I think Todderick King, I've gotten to know him quite a bit over the course of really 4 or 5 years. I first ran into Tank King whenever he was playing travel baseball as a 13-year-old, and I was coaching against him. So I've known Tank for quite a while and gotten to know his dad pretty well. And so his dad has been up close and personal. They've been on campus for every one of these home games this year just about, and they've gotten a really close look at what Mike Elko is building and then how the recruiting pitch has not only just worked on them, but how they've seen it work on others. And so I think Todderick King, Tank's dad, will be a great interview there. But then, yeah, that's two of the linebackers that are in. Tamarian Watkins came in earlier today, so they're just waiting on DeQuivis Beck out of Carthage. And then they will have all of the linebackers that were committed signed. And we'll talk a lot more about Tank and Storm and Tamarian and that whole group a little bit later. But, yeah, it's off to a flying start this morning. It's so fast I can't even keep up of getting stuff retweeted and thoughts on all these commitments that are coming in on the site. So you're listening to us on TexAgs Live, on the radio, or on YouTube, or on the site.
Right.
If you want further in-depth breakdown and analysis, you'll have to subscribe to TexAgs.com. It's a great time to subscribe with A&M in the playoff and obviously signing day, all the content that will be produced by our staff coming out of today.
What is it like for you, who've been covering these guys sometimes since middle school, and seeing that journey kind of realized?
Yeah, I think I have a little bit of a unique perspective because I see it on the baseball side so often. But it is cool. Like every kid that straps on a helmet in the state of Texas has dreams of playing at the next level. It's cool for the families. It's really cool for the kids. It's cool for the communities. And you see the support that these kids, and it takes a village. Everybody says it takes a village to raise a young man. And there's so many people invested in these hometowns and all of these kids, and they feel like they're their own. And just looking at Tank, the people in Port Arthur, they're proud of Tank, and they want to see Tank succeed at the next level. And you go through some of these small towns, Pascagoula, Mississippi, with Tylen Wilson, or Carthage, Texas, with DeQuivis Beck and KJ Edwards. There's just going to be so many people that have invested so much time and effort into their upbringing. This is a big moment for them and the families and the kids, obviously.
Yeah, let's kind of go through some of these names, Bronny, and just kind of talk about, I got the privilege of meeting Aaron Gregory during the summer. What a great family, dynamic kid, dynamic playmaker. Was he the first one that signed this morning?
He was, yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about, the level of athlete and man we're getting. Young man.
Well, it's first of all, he's super impressive as a speaker because of the confidence and his ability to put his thoughts together. He's got a future in broadcasting if he wants it. Huge personality, very confident in himself, and just gives off tremendous leadership vibes, and was a keystone piece to this class because of how he melds with Mike Elko's culture, right? And they didn't waver even when his teammate, Jordan Carter, decommitted from A&M. They never budged. And he's been the biggest proponent of Texas A&M in this class. I think he and Madden Williams would be right up there. Brandon Arrington would be another one. But when you turn the tape on and you look at the measurables and the skill set and the raw athletic traits, spoiler alert, we put out our class superlatives each and every year. Our class superlatives are going to come out on Friday, I believe. This is going to be our best overall player.
Yeah.
For at least me and Jason. We all three of our recruiting staff got a vote in that. But for me and Jason, this was our best overall player. And the stuff that he does at receiver in that body, and he moves like he's 5'10", 170 pounds, but he's 6'3" and wiry and gangly. It's a unique blend of body style and play style that would seemingly come out of two different body styles. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? So this is a kid, even with what they're going to have coming back at receiver, this skill set, and I think the way he's wired, is going to give him opportunities to get on the field next year.
I thought we were about to go to the Buffy's Catering Bartending Hotline, but it looks like we're not going to go there just yet. So let's just continue down the list. And Victor Singleton out of Toledo, Ohio.
Yeah, interesting enough, he was committed to Illinois very early in the process, and that was a time when Brett Bielema and his staff had decided they were going to go and press on this 2026 class, especially in that Midwest region. They had a lot of really impressive prospects committed at one point that have since backed away from the Illini. But A&M went back in when that recruitment was opened up and really started toward the end right before he decommitted. And we started hearing his name more and more. And it was a player that Jordan Peterson had really fallen in love with because of it's a smaller frame, but the kid can really cover. Like, it's an angular body, wide shoulders, long arms, but he is slight. Like, he's going to need the cafeteria. He's going to need Tommy Moffitt's weight room. But when you just look at his abilities in coverage and the way he moves, his lateral quickness, ability to change direction, how low he'll play in his back pedal, all those things really stood out. And then obviously when you turn the tape on, you also see pretty premier ball skills. And he chose the Aggies over Illinois, Oregon, Ole Miss, Ohio State made a move a little bit. Didn't get a huge press from the in-state Buckeyes, but this is a one that A&M sought very early on and put a high value, a high priority tag on him.
Let's go to the Buffy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Former Texas A&M tight end and a regular guest and contributor to TexAgs, Jamie McCoy, joining us to break down some of these playmakers. Jamie, what's up, buddy?
What's going on, guys? Good to see y'all. I'm sad that I'm not there in studio getting to enjoy some of those tacos.
Oh, no worries, man. We miss having you on. I know you've been busy this fall, but he's killing it in the Pick 6 game.
Yeah, I heard he's dominating.
It's like a double-digit lead. Hey, so I wanted you to kind of break down some of these tight ends, a position you know well. We'll start off with somebody who's already signed this morning, Evan Jacobson. What have you seen on film from him?
Man, Evan Jacobson, he seems like your natural tight end. He's got all the intangibles when it comes to the size, 6'5", 6'6", something that I didn't have. And then he's got that the frame. Once he gets in there with Moffitt, he's only going to mature as a man and become the guy that he's supposed to be. But when I see him, my immediate thoughts were just a baby Borkature. He seems like a kid that can get up the field. You put it anywhere near his net span, he can come down with the catch. I love that he had a lot of blocking on his film. He seems like he's the guy that could go in and I'm not sure how many tight ends we're going to lose after this season, but he seems like one that can absolutely add to the pile with everything that he's able to do, blocking-wise, catching-wise. Looks like he'll be a good threat for us in the red zone. So great addition. Good on Mike Elko for going out there and getting a guy with that size, and I'm looking forward to what he can do for us moving forward.
Brian, I'm trying to remember. He's the only one that we know of not being an early enrollee.
Yeah, he's not going to enroll early because he's going to play basketball, and he's trying to work out a future in College Station with both Mike Elko and Bucky McMillan. Going to be hard to do, but I think that's still in the cards. Jamie, how important do you think a basketball background is for Evan Jacobson and KK Johnson, another tight end who has stood out on the basketball court for Fort Bend Marshall? There's just seems like to me, a novice in terms of the position, it seems to me like there'd be a lot of crossover in those athletic skill sets.
Oh, absolutely. I'm a big proponent of guys playing multiple sports because I think every sport can add something to your game in some facet, something that you might not even realize. But basketball is one of those deals where when you're banging down low, you're learning about leverage and body position, which is a big thing when it comes to blocking and angles and knowing how to put your weight onto somebody. And then obviously the main thing with basketball is going up there and high pointing, whether it's for a rebound or whatnot. But being able to go up and high point a ball, it's the same thing as far as rebounds and a red zone touchdown pass. You're going up there trying to get that thing as high as you can and take it off of somebody's head. So for him and the other tight end to be playing basketball, kudos to them. I can't imagine playing two sports in college with all the stuff that you have on your plate. But the fact that they're even thinking that way lets me know that they're competitive and they want to get in there, put their hand in the pile in multiple sports. I think it's nothing but a good thing. With these football recruits, you kind of want them to lean more football and be focused on that. But I don't think it hurts anything at all whether these guys are trying to play baseball, basketball. Again, like I said, I think that helps with little things, hand-eye coordination, balance, leverage, everything. You name it. You can apply it to another sport and kind of translate that way.
Well, speaking of KK Johnson, Jamie, he is kind of following a similar path to you did. Now, he won't play quarterback when he gets to Texas A&M, but early in his high school career and even through his senior year, he was the quarterback of a Fort Bend Marshall team and program that's really highly touted in that greater Houston area. What can you learn from playing quarterback that can help you at tight end?
Man, I know I can speak to this. Guys like Tannehill can speak to this. When you're playing quarterback, obviously you have to know what everybody has to do. But when you're able to know, as a quarterback, you know certain, whether somebody's running a cover 2, cover 3, some type of man, whatever it is, you kind of know what you want your receiver to do. So when you're able to go over and translate to receiver or tight end, kind of like you saying JJ's going to do, you just kind of know what the quarterback likes. You kind of know where he wants the ball. Now, you got to get the chemistry and get with the guy that's going to be throwing you the ball. But the fact of knowing where you need to fit in the hole, knowing how it's seen by the quarterback, seeing it on that back end, it allows you to be such a better receiver or running back, whatever the case may be, just because you know how it all fits in the grand scheme of what the offense coordinator is trying to do. So whenever you're able to know the big picture from what the quarterback is trying to see, and you get out there and you're able to see it live in game, it just makes you so much more of a threat to that to that quarterback, because he knows that we're on the same page and he's seeing what I'm seeing, whether it be coverage, how it's breaking down, what they're doing, whether they made adjustments. You just kind of get on the same page. So again, it's chemistry building, but the fact that you're able to do that and have that knowledge of a quarterback, it just makes you that much more of a deadly weapon.
Before I ask Jamie about Helaman Casuga, Bronny, Mike Brown just signed.
Yeah, really cool. Olin will be down there a little bit later today to do a feature piece on Mike and his dad, Reggie, an A&M legend, a legend in the greater Houston area. So a really cool story. Really happy for Reggie and Mike and their whole family.
Yeah. Jamie, so Helaman Casuga, I know Bronny got to go to Utah and watch him play. Well, I guess he met up with him the day of the game and afterwards. Am I right about that? And you got to see him play. Have you watched a little bit of Helaman at all? What kind of quarterback does he appear to be to you?
Man, he kind of jumped off the tape. The thing I liked about him was he's a little fiery, a little chippy. I saw him make a few plays where he kind of headbutted through the guys that were coming up to celebrate. He just kind of gave him a little headbutt with his helmet. For me, I like guys like that, just kind of fiery, chippy, kind of Johnny Manziel-esque. They just got a lot of emotion and competition. But what I see from him, a guy with a quick release, he seems like I love that he wasn't just eyeing one receiver and having to throw there. You could see him kind of going through his progressions. Whenever there was something in his face in the pocket, he's able to elude. Great set of feet on him. It seems like he again, another guy that would be able to put his hand in the pile. It seems like he can make every throw on the field. He has a deep, strong arm, and then he's got a lot of zip on his ball, when he's throwing it over the middle. So I think we got a great one in him. He looks like he looks like he can do everything that we would need him to do in this type of offense to climb runs.
Jamie, man, great stuff. I appreciate you joining us this morning. We'll get you in studio next National Signing Day, and of course during the season as well.
Absolutely. So good seeing you guys. Hoping for the best the rest of this season and then the rest of the signing day.
Thank you, Jamie. Yep.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Jamie McCoy there on the Puppies Catering and Bartending Hotline. We'll hit a break. We'll come back with Billy Liucci, who is in the building. Bronny, I'm going to treat you like OB for a moment. When was the last time you had good barbecue?
Well, I loved a good smoked meat.
Yeah, you do.
But I haven't had good barbecue like the one you're about to talk about.
Yeah, 1775. They're always at our tailgates, but if you haven't been there to snook, you're missing out. I'm not going to make jokes. I'm just going to tell you they're the best. If you like succulent brisket and that amazing jalapeno cheese sausage that they have and all the fixings that you want, they got it there at 1775. The queso mac and cheese is by far my favorite carb in the country, in the world. It is so darn, excuse me.
Whoa.
Darn, yeah, I know.
Wow.
I get passionate about it. So darn.
That guy, nobody's more passionate about smoking meats than you and OB.
This is true. We're big fans of smoking meats. And only at 1775. Call them up, 979-492-6241, or visit them at 1775txbbq.com. Make the noise he makes. And we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Our National Signing Day coverage is brought to you by Holistic Planning, and our post-show meal brought to you by Bubba's 33 in College Station, Bubba's 33, scratch-made food for all, stone-baked pizza, half-pound burgers, and TVs from wall to wall. Billy Liucci is in studio, just threw, looks like a chicken biscuit out the window.
Wrong again.
There's no window here.
Oh, sorry.
No window, and it wasn't a chicken biscuit.
What was it?
So, if you'd like to be wrong in a third thing, we could have the umpire over here ring you up with a.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for always having.
Well, you were wrong about
pleasant.
two.
What would your strike three call look like if you were an umpire?
I'd probably do like a cross, like a pole, like a lawnmower.
Guys, this is just a pedestrian show right now. We've got no
What happened to my microphone?
microphones on. We got Billy
What
wearing
I know what
shower rug.
That underneath thing falls out all the time. It's terrible. No one's decided to fix it. All fall.
Never fallen out on me. Not once.
It falls out on.
Nah, and I do it 3 hours a day. Anyway, welcome to the National
We don't
Signing
all
Day
wear
Show.
mizzen and main form-fitting button-up shirts, so maybe that would stick a little better on the thin material.
That's great. That's really nice. Real rich. Welcome to the show, Billy.
I found it, Nick.
Don't worry about Brawny.
Hey, this is National Signing Day. We got, 21 people now signed. I couldn't hear who Nick said was the most recent
Cameron
one.
Hamill.
Cameron Hamill's the most recent. Bill, I know you at some point this hour you want to get into yesterday's playoff rankings.
Yeah, for sure.
But let's start off with what you've seen this morning. 21 people have signed. Cameron Hamill, the most recent.
Well, good thing. No, I'm getting texts about the poll. Point by point. 1, 2, 3, 4 points. Wow. I'll read these 4 points. My good friend who texted me these points because they were interesting. It's a really solid, rock solid class. Bronny said there's somebody on there posting, crying about where the ranking is. You got to stop with that. Like, you have to stop. It's 2025. It's the 2026 class. It's 2025's coming to an end. Those days are over. You want to be number one. You want to be number one in everything. Sometimes you probably don't even want to one class if you're going to say, hey, our numbers aren't going to be that high. Their numbers were high enough where you say, okay, yeah, you'd love to be number one. But with the day and age of the portal, it's just not the same as it used to be. So you want classes that produce on the field and getting the guys you want and addressing areas of need. And I think anytime you're in that, I always say, to me, it's that 5 to 7 is my 4 to 7 is like the sweet spot where I go, that's an elite class on paper on signing day. I keep saying, if you live in there, you're just fine. A&M, what will they be? They'll be a little outside of that, right on the back end of the top 10.
Probably 8 or 9, yeah.
Yeah, and so, yeah, I mean, and who knows, will they get a surprise today or not to bump that up a little bit? I guess you guys talked about KJ Ford. We were watching that one as recently as yesterday or this morning.
Yeah.
Looked like A&M. Hell, that's why Hal was there. Looked like A&M would have a shot. Now that was one I think A&M would have had they wanted him early on, as much as Florida did. To be honest,
Florida. There's a reason why Florida kind of reset their standing with that one. From what I understand this morning, they made some serious allocations yesterday.
Well, let's talk about that, this allocation thing, because it's another thing that goes into these recruiting classes now. And it works for and against A&M. This is not sour grapes. It is, how much are you offering in the form of NIL? How much are the other schools offering? How desperate of a need is it for the other school versus you, or you versus the other school? And then also within your building, how much are you allocating for a recruiting class versus the rest of your roster? How much are you allocating towards bringing players back like Marcel Reed, Mario Craver, Dalton Brooks, DJ Hicks? I'm just thinking of guys with eligibility left, Torian York. How much is going Chase Bisonte? And some of these guys may very well go pro, but I'm saying, how much are you investing in your current roster of your budget, of your overall budget versus a recruiting class? And for everybody, that's different now. So there might be some years where you see a team that you go, man, they're really good. They should recruit a top 5 class, and they're sitting at like 13. Well, maybe they got a bunch of dudes on the fence coming back that they decided we're going to put a lot of our money into this group to retain the core nucleus of this team. So it's now going to be more than ever a moving target. So you have to do what we're going to do today and break down the entire class position by position. And I think also combine it with what they'd signed a year prior, along with young portal guys, not 1 or 2 and dones, and see what your roster building is looking like at this snapshot in time. So to me, a lot of what I'm going to talk about today, and you're going to help me since you've got your computer right here, is combining those 2 classes. So you talk, right when we walked in, we talked about Hamill. Take him, Arrington, the corners, Singleton, take those guys, combine them with last year's cornerback haul, and how do you feel about the youth at that position on your football team? And I think at that particular position, we're going to feel pretty damn good about it.
Caleb Tafua did just sign, by the way.
Yeah, and that was one that was actually, they kind of had to fight to hang on. There was some late momentum with some schools out west. He had a crazy senior season. His school had their coach get fired. Mm-hmm. Then they forfeited their season, so he had to move from California to Arizona, and he didn't get in there late. I got to meet him outside of the Samford game. Enormous hands, like surprise, like he just kind of shock you how big his hands are. But great tight end build, some versatility. You see him splitting out wide a lot as you do with these high school tight ends. And so they brought in a ton of versatility and real athleticism, like real athleticism at the position.
Yeah, I heard y'all talking about tight ends, and I looked, and we didn't see him at all this year, but you got a guy wearing number 21 from that last class.
He was in here yesterday. He's enormous.
Yeah, and you signed him last year and then these 3 this year, and I heard y'all talking about the versatility of that group, and he's a real athletic. This is a real athletic tight end that's still slim. I think it's going to really fill out, and I love what they added in the group. Jacobson with his like length and almost one of those receiving type guys. So I love the group of tight ends, what they added with these 3 this year. And then have y'all talked about Caden yet?
Not yet, but
I want to. He's to me one of my favorites in the class. Actually.
Yeah, let's hit a break here. When we come back, we'll talk to Todderick King, the father of the Tank King from Port Arthur Memorial. We'll do that on the other side. Right now, we're talking Duck Camp. It's the end of the regular season, but the weather's really cooling off and football is getting good. If you are looking for some days outside for the morning in the blind, the afternoon grilling out, or evenings watching some Aggie football or basketball, whatever it may be, let Duck Camp be the gear for you. They got the essential hoodie. They've got it all. They got the lightweight brush shirt. They got the brush pants, you name it, outdoors, indoors. Whether you're hunting birds at sunrise or flipping burgers, Duck Camp's got you covered. Check it all out at duckcamp.com. Built for the outdoors, designed for everything else. Use the code TexAgs25 for 25% off your order, duckcamp.com. Hey friends, David Nuno here for Prize Picks. They're back on TexAgs, prizepicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to get $50 once you play in $5 lineups. And Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Football season's here, basketball coming up, baseball, you name it. You go to prizepicks.com/TexAgs and start having some fun watching sports, making some money on there. And you can play Prize Picks in over 40 states, including California and Texas. Remember, they'll give you $50 in lineups once you play $5 lineups on Prize Picks. And they have the new thing. It's called It's Good to Be Right campaign. And they're kicking off the upcoming NFL season with their bold new campaign, It's Good to Be Right. The seasonal long push celebrates the thrills of getting it right, from the perfect prediction to winning your Prize Picks lineups. Prize Picks is good to be right. All right, we're back here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Our National Signing Day coverage is brought to you by Holistic Planning, and we're going to have a lot of highlights of Tank King. And these Love Ya Bum highlights are brought to you by the Lucky Number 8 Productions. Love Ya Bum is a new sports documentary celebrating legendary football coach Bum Phillips. Bum coached at high school, college, and professional levels, ultimately transforming the Oilers in the 70s from his unconventional style to family-first approach. Yes,
Can
sir.
I tell you something about Bum Phillips? You know where he's from?
Where's he from?
He coached at Nederland and Port Neches Groves, which is in the Golden Triangles, which is a great segue into our next guest.
Todderick King is joining us on the Bucky's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Tank King's father. Todderick, how are you, sir? Good morning.
I'm doing great this morning. How you guys doing this morning?
Doing wonderful. I just want to ask a dad-to-dad question. What is today like for you, right? Like seeing all the work that your son's been able to put up over the years and all the different travel and levels he's played at to now sign at an SEC powerhouse in Texas A&M.
I'm going to tell you the truth, man. I'm honestly ecstatic. Of course, you know, me and my wife had tears this morning, but I'm ecstatic for him, and the opportunity that he has is just super awesome.
Todderick, you and I have gotten to know each other pretty well through the years, going all the way back to the baseball fields in Franklin, Texas, the first time I saw Tank play. As his dad, where have you been the most proud in his growth and his maturity, especially over the last couple of years at Port Arthur Memorial?
More than anything, just the way he takes into something as far as like his film study. I've seen him just become more serious and more mature, and basically when it's time to work out, when I go in the living room and I see him already with his stuff on, like I'm late, you know. So that's been the biggest or the proudest moments that I've seen. I've seen people, Coach Mangum, Coach Morgan, Coach Jones, give him opportunities and him to excel at those opportunities and take it to the next level, and just accept those opportunities and try to build on them. That's probably been the biggest thing that I've seen, the growth in my kid that I in my wife, like I said, love to see on him.
When did you know, you and your wife, when did y'all know that y'all might have Tank, like he's interested in football, he's interested in baseball, but this football deal has got a chance to stick and him be pretty good at it? Was there a moment, maybe 13, 14 years old, that really stands out where you thought your son had a chance to play in the SEC?
Never dreamed as big as the SEC. We definitely wanted to play. We definitely wanted him to play Division I football. The SEC, I want to say early off, it was too far off for us to see possibly the SEC, you know, by that being the standard, you know, of college football. We just wanted him to play Division I football. We knew that was his dream. You know, SEC, it just all kind of fell into everything. Probably his sophomore year, we started saying, hey, you know, we're going to start fine-tuning some things, and, you know, baseball's kind of, you know, start dwindling and getting on the back burner more than anything. The more we start talking to Donnie Bags, the more we start talking to different coaches or whatever, baseball seemed like, you know, it was dimmering, and football was starting to work its way up. So, you know, by his junior year, when all the big offers started rolling in and different things like that, we've seen that we really were going to have an opportunity to play big Division I football.
Well, and Todderick, one of the reasons I wanted to have you on the show today is because you and Tank have been regular visitors really for a long time at Texas A&M, but especially since Tank committed, and you have been a big proponent of the culture that Coach Elko is building, and you've seen it happen through the recruiting lens and through the parent lens. Can you give us kind of what makes this culture that Coach Elko has built so enticing for you and Tank, but also for all the other recruits?
Well, a lot of people don't. Well, when we met Coach Elko, one of the biggest things that it is we read people's body language. We didn't heard 1,000 spills from 1,000 people, and we just generally felt like Coach Elko was honest and was upfront with us about everything. And, you know, just to see him sit there, we sitting across from or whatever. And, we'd have been in some offices where, people were suited down and, just great posture. Coach Echo sits there and he kicks his leg under himself. And he's just like he's at home watching a movie, and he's just honestly giving his honest opinion about everything that's going on and where he's seeing this program going. And it's just so crazy to see it excel the way he said it was going to excel and put in the hard work that he said or whatever. And I'm just glad that we were one of those people that believed early that he was going to do what he was going to do. And when me and my wife left that office or whatever, the very first time, and Tank or whatever, we all talked in the car. It was like, man, I think that's the direction we want to lean in, and all of us felt it. So it's really great that he has somebody like Coach Bateman right behind him, because I mean he is basically a super salesman towards the situation, and it made everything just come into the fold for us.
Well, Todderick, I appreciate your time this morning. Congratulations on a big day for you and your family, and obviously your son. And then let's see if we can get a win this weekend against Barbers Hill, and then I'll go see you guys in a 5A Division I semifinal. How about that?
Absolutely.
All right, man.
Whoop and giggle, baby.
I appreciate it, Todderick. Yep.
Thank you. Todderick King there on the Buppies Catering and Bartending Hotline. I just think, when he's talking about tears in his eyes, I feel it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
what a cool moment for moms and dads and guardians and like I said, there's so many people that invest so much time and effort, and you've done it with your sons and your daughters. Think about how many hours you've spent in the car driving them places, and just because of what they love to do, right? And this is, the opportunity that Cruz or Christian may have to go play college soccer. Like, it doesn't matter if it's at Blinn College or Tacoma College in Washington. Like, that's an extremely proud moment for you. And the teenagers, they don't get the sentimental part of it, but I think as dads and parents, you definitely do. And Todderick, before the interview started, he sent me a text message, and he is head to toe decked out in A&M stuff today.
I saw that. That was great.
So Todderick, like I said, I've gotten to know him for quite a while. I'm born and raised in the Golden Triangle, so we know a lot of the same people and made those connections very early on in Tank's recruitment. And they've been great. He's been a great resource. Like, some of the information that we've been able to get throughout the course of this recruiting cycle has come from Todderick King.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of Christian and Cruz, I think I told you last week they both got accepted to A&M. So I'm hoping they play club soccer at A&M.
Okay.
So if you want to help recruit them.
Well, listen, we're not going to compare who's a better dad here, but one of the Go Hour hosts has a son going to LSU and then the other one might have a couple going to A&M.
I'm hoping.
That's all I'm saying.
They've only applied to A&M in soccer schools. That's it. So.
Oh, okay. Well, good luck, Christian and Cruz. I hope that you guys have more swagger than your father.
That's a lot of swagger, bro. What are you talking about? Paragon Financial, speaking of swagger, Stephen McGee, our QB1's got a lot of swagger. If you're looking for real peace of mind when it comes to your money, check out Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors. They're an independent fiduciary serving clients all across Texas. No sales pitches, no commissions, just honest financial planning and investment management. And what really sets them apart is the 9 CFPs, the CFA, the CPA, all on staff, and they take their credentials seriously. And they work tirelessly to help you build your future that you can feel good about. Go to paragon-adv.com or give them a call, 979-693.
Oh, we got breaking.
Oh, we do. I'm sorry.
Big time breaking news.
What's that?
Chris Kleiman has retired at Kansas State, and the Wildcats are hiring Texas A&M offensive coordinator Colin Klein to be their head coach.
So I saw tweets about that yesterday, like about him maybe going back home, and I guess this was in the works.
Yeah, congratulate. First of all,
who's reporting this?
I'm getting it from everybody.
Okay. We'll hit a break here. Paragon Financial Advisors, integrity, expertise, and trust. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio, our National Signing Day coverage, brought to you by Holistic Planning. This is the Go Hour, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations, and I'll keep it going with the ad reads. As a reminder, the final segment of the program, brought to you by Double Dave's. That is in 2 hours at 10:50. But right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza. They've been serving Aggieland since 1984 with your favorite pizza and, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls, reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com, and your favorites are on their way. Bronny, the first hour is in. What's the official count so far, Nick? If you have it for me, is it 21 folks who have signed already this morning? Does that sound about right? 23 folks have signed.
Yeah, I think in the last, while we were talking to Todderick King and
Asher Murray was the most recent one to sign.
Yes. So you got Asher Murray, you've had and Tafua, who we did speak about. We haven't spoke a lot about Cameron Hamill. Okay, so I think this is probably too short of a segment to start going positionally, but we can talk about Asher Murray because it is the only specialist that they're signing. They did put out graphics. It should be noted that they've put out graphics for Waylon Peters, a punter from Montgomery, who has been a longtime preferred walk-on commit, as well as in a special congratulations to Hunter McKinney and Steve McKinney, who have also been announced.
Absolutely.
That is the second legacy signing, I guess, for Texas A&M behind with Mike Brown, obviously joining the class as well. Those are PWOs, but they have been announced as signees by Texas A&M football. But for Asher Murray, this is a kid, and look, what have we learned about a kicker on a competent kicker on a talented football team? You need one.
You do.
And when you're competing for national championships and SEC championships, this is a very important position. Even in the day and age of analytics, where you're seeing kickers relied upon less, to me that means when they are trotting out there, the moments and the importance of the moments have increased, right? And this is a position, if you look at how it has evolved over the last 10 years, maybe evolved as great as any position in football.
Yep.
If you look at what these NFL kickers are doing now, like if the Dallas Cowboys get on the other side of the 50, it's almost guaranteed 3 points. It's crazy. So if you can find somebody that can impact games like that, it can only, like, having a great kicker doesn't guarantee you anything. But where would Oklahoma be without Tate Sandell?
You're right about that.
You understand what I'm saying? So, like, you are trying to build as complete of a roster as you possibly can, and Asher Murray is a kid that the A&M staff zeroed in on very, very early and felt like they had to have on scholarship in this class. And he's been good in game from 50-plus already. He has been a consistent figure in all these Coles kicking competitions and all those similar type of camps. And look, I think people will look at signing classes and how they're rated, and you have to understand that they are a lot of times adding a kicker to on scholarship can greatly affect your average star rating, if that matters to you, your overall class rating, if that matters to you. But he is a highly regarded kicker. And again, this is a roster need that has to be addressed, whether it be through high school or the portal.
By the way, I heard a lot over the last couple weeks that A&M would not have won the Notre Dame game if it wasn't for a missed extra point by Notre Dame. And I want to remind folks that A&M missed the field goal in that game too.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
look, we've seen special teams have some really high highs and some really low lows this year. Most of the highs have come in the return game. The kicking game has struggled, and if you're
not coverage and blocking for it as well.
Right, but I would field goal and punt blocking, I would throw that all into the kicking game. The return game has been solid. The kicking game has been way more down than up. And on a really talented football team, again, that Mike Elko is trying to build, those need to be good players.
Yep.
They really need, and especially if you're going to be, like for a punter, if you think you're trying to build an elite defense, your punter is part of that.
By the way, when we come back here on TexAgs Live, we got a couple things going on. Billy will rejoin us. I'm sure we'll talk about some news out there that he's posted on TexAgs.com. We'll also talk about at 9:35 about the newest playoff rankings, but all National Signing Day coverage. We've got Brandon Leone coming in. We'll talk to Zaden Krempin at 9 o'clock. We will also talk to Aaron Gregory at the top of the 10 o'clock hour. So we got a lot more still in plan for you. Helaman Casuga going to join us as well. You're listening to TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Our National Signing Day coverage is brought to you by our friends at Holistic Planning. Our National Signing Day show is brought to you by Holistic Planning. It's all about trust and trusting the right people to build your future. So let me ask you something. If your financial advisor isn't an Aggie, can you really trust them to understand what matters to you most? They're not giving back to NIL. You got to wonder if they're 2% of the guys at Holistic Planning are Aggies serving Aggies with true holistic financial planning. We're talking investments and tax planning under one roof. They actually see the complete picture, not just bits and pieces like most other advisors. And they put their money where their mouth is. A percentage of their profits go directly to Aggie NIL. They're not just talking about supporting the program. They're actually doing it. If you're an Aggie who expects nothing but the best and you want advisors who bleed maroon and white, you need to set a meeting to see if it's a fit by visiting holisticplanning.com. Ryan Brauninger, Brandon Leone, all here. It's TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. We go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Zaden Krempin is joining us to chit-chat about signing with Texas A&M. Zaden, good morning, buddy. How are you?
Good morning. How are you? I'm good.
Hey, let me just start things off with what does today mean to you? How special is today that something you know is coming, but now it's official?
Yeah, I mean, it feels good to be committed somewhere and be locked in, and just I'm excited to be Aggie.
Zaden, you have been a very since you made your decision to be an Aggie, you've been very staunch in that commitment, and you've been at a lot of the home games, and you've talked a lot about the culture that Coach Cushing is building. Was there ever a moment in your recruitment? Can you go back and think about the moment that you knew that the Aggies were going to be your pick, and what was it about A&M that caused you to really kind of, I guess, sift through all the weeds of the recruiting and say, this is where I want to be?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I think it was the official visit and just seeing like really who they were and just, I mean, who they were outside of football. I mean, I felt A&M, they showed the most, like, because to me, family means the most to me, and they showed that, and that matters to me. And I think the coaches, they showed how much that matters to them too. And I mean, I know they'll do anything for me, and I just being recruited by 53 schools is really hard, kind of shift through everything. But A&M was the realest, just most honest football team that I've talked to, and I just I'm just blessed to be committed to them now. So.
And then your relationship with Coach Cushing, and then what do you know about him as a coach, and what have you seen about how he's built the culture in his offensive line room?
Yeah, I mean, it's I talk to guys like Trey Zoom and just, Trey Zoom trusts Coach Cushing to stay another year and hopefully get his draft grade up. And that shows a lot by Coach Cushing and just how the guys have trusted him, and I mean, the players have trusted him. That means I have trusted him, and just a lot of props. I mean, he made a first rounder out of Duke, and that sounds like that never happens. And to be at A&M with all the resources and just the 12th man who supports, and that's just somewhere I want to be. And I have a lot of faith and trust in him, and yes, sir.
You were playing your highlights as you're sitting here talking, and there's a definite mean streak, man. You've been super respectful and well-spoken and great with us in the media off the field, but when the ball is snapped, it seems like there's a little bit different of a switch that goes off. Where do you get this mean streak? Because it is a kind of seemingly a different human on and off the field here.
Yeah, it's you just got to be the meanest person on the field and the nicest person off the field. And that's what my dad taught me since I started playing football in 7th grade, and just to be that dog. And in the 4 years I've been at Prosper High School, I gave Prosper everything I got, and that's the same I want to do for A&M. And I'm going to expect myself to do, just be that physical guy on the field for y'all too. And it's just you just got to leave it all on the line, because also you don't know when that day is going to come when it all ends. So, you just got to give it your all. So,
and you'll be moving to College Station here very shortly. What are you most looking forward to? What's got you excited about finally getting on campus and getting to work?
Yeah, I mean, I've been waiting for this day for a while, just for something new, and I would say just getting the program, understand everything. I would say working with guys like Coach Blake and Coach Moffitt. Another reason why I'm going to go to A&M, because I put a lot of trust in them and develop me to the player I want to be. And I know they're the bridge from high school to college football, and that's a big bridge. But you need guys like that you need to be excited to work with them and just help you bridge that bridge, and just understand the playbook from inside out, and just. You can see Trey Zoom go to left tackle to center, and I think I could be someone like that can move around. I can play anywhere. Anywhere I can help the team, and I'm excited to start the process. I know I got a long road, and just ready to work and give it all I got.
Zaden, we appreciate your time, buddy. Congratulations. Enjoy this day with you and your family.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Gig 'em.
Zaden Krempin there on the Bucky's Catering and Bartending Hotline. And those highlights with Zaden are brought to you by These Love Ya Bum highlights. With the Lucky Number 8 Productions, Love Ya Bum is a new sports documentary. Ryan Brauninger, David Nuno, and Brandon Leone.
Well-dressed Brandon Leone.
My goodness, man.
Look at this guy.
Y'all are tripping.
No, we're not tripping. Like you come in here for an interview. You know you ain't going to impress Billy dressing that way.
Man, I know. You never know what Billy's going to have on.
I know.
It does feel like the production value has been lifted up a little bit, like NFL Network style.
Speaking of the NFL style, that was probably the most well-spoken young man I've heard you
There's
interview.
a reason why we wanted him on
time.
the show. And you know what's crazy is with Zaden, he used to have a fear of doing media. And Jason Howell has actually helped him quite a bit with talking on camera, doing interviews, talking to media members. He had some trepidation about doing that early in his high school career because he had a little bit of a stutter.
Yeah.
And he's worked through that. He's an incredible kid.
Yeah.
When you meet him, when you talk to him, and he looks like, I mean, if you're going to go to 1971 and build an offensive lineman, you're going to build that guy. It is throwback. It's tatted up. It's mullet. It's the single bar down the middle of the face mask. It's old school.
Yeah.
We just found out Brandon Arrington is the latest to sign. And
well, we'll talk to that guy about Brandon Arrington because this guy runs faster than me and you could ever imagine. He's probably the closest.
Yeah. What was your 40 back in the day?
4.36.
This Brandon, okay, so he's in the Brandon Arrington.
Yeah, in the Brandon Arrington. Look, he's
Now,
a little smile too, right?
Now listen, AccuTrack at A&M when you had to put the thumb down was 4.42, but you know the camps, I was 4.36.
So tell us a little bit about Brandon Arrington, what you've seen on film.
Well, I mean, he is what he looks like. He's a 5-star athlete. He's explosive. There's a reason he has such a big following. I mean, I think these are the type of explosive playmakers that you want to add to your roster. And I think a big part of our season this year was the fact that we went and added guys like KC and Mario, and guys that can change the game at any time. Ryan, you tell me, Ryan, I don't know. I know you're on this way more than me. What's he projecting here?
Corner.
He's going to play corner?
But he is going to do what he can to get on the offensive side to get some touches as well. That's what he's told us. He wants to play both ways.
Why not? I mean, look at the size. He jumps out of the roof. He's fast. He's explosive. But, you know, I'm glad you said corner because I think to me, and you and Billy can speak to this better than I can, but I think part of our success this year and the reason we led the league in tackles for loss and sacks is our ability to cover on the back end. I mean, it changes things for a defense. And you go and you lose Tyreek Chappelle now. You're going to lose Will Lee. Bringing in cover corners and guys that can play on the outside and lock down a side of the field or lock down a number one receiver is critical with as many as explosive receivers are in the SEC. It's a huge get. I'm glad to hear that that's where he's going to focus to start.
Yeah, the measurables and the testing data here are sensational. Like some of the best in the country. He could potentially be an Olympic sprinter in the 200 meters. I mean, this kid is electric when he gets up to top end. 5-star is a deserving rating because he's a unique blend of Billy's 6'3", he's 195 pounds, and he's a 20.3 200-meter guy.
Yep. And can change direction and has ball skills. I mean, this guy, again, this is one of those dudes that, and you don't have to be that tall to play corner, but if you can move like him, and by move, I mean move, agility, footwork, all of those things along with being that sprinter, those are the guys that end up being like stars at the college level and the next level. I always joke because Elko used to joke about it when he came back and said, why does everybody think I have to recruit only tall corners? His joke was, I want guys who can cover and tackle. That's what I want. I don't care how tall they are. If they happen to be Brandon Arrington's height and can cover and tackle, then yes, that is why they are 5 stars and we want them. Absolutely. And he's that kind of guy. And that length, you know how it is, Brandon. It makes it so difficult. It's like if you watch on a basketball court and you watch these teams come in here like, you know, the Blue Bloods over the years, depending on whatever conference A&M's in, Kentucky, Kansas, you know, pick your conference. That length makes the court seem so much smaller, and it does that when you've got that, I think, on the edges and at line, you know, those edges and linebacker and especially corner. And again, it's hard to get that at corner because most times you're giving up something in the way of agility, footwork, able to turn your hips. Brandon Harrington, he's such an elite Harrington. I said Harrington. Harrington's such an elite athlete, like you said, that he checks every one of those boxes, hence the rating, hence who you're having to fight for him. Mm-hmm. I know who else was. I know it ended up A&M Oregon at the final table.
And then there was Bama, Washington, Penn State. It's interesting, very little. I mean, nothing in California.
Yeah.
It speaks a lot to what's happening out there in that state.
Yeah, I don't think he ever really paid it much mind over there.
But, you know, what is an overarching theme, David? We probably should have started the show with this. With these skill players, what is an overarching theme that we've seen in this class and how it mimics what's on the field right now at Texas A&M is how many of these guys can really run. Mm-hmm. Brandon Arrington and Cameron Hamill on the back end can fly. Cameron Hamill might have the best senior tape of anybody in this class. And you flip it over to the other side and you look at Aaron Gregory and you look at Jaden Warren and you look at KJ Edwards. These are run away from you type of athletes. Mm-hmm. And I think with what we've seen on the field, that factor is always important in football, but I think it ramped up in importance for Texas A&M in their evaluation process once they started to see what Casey and Concepcion were doing in the open field and Ashton Bethel Roman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you got it.
Please.
Well, I was just going to say, watching the safeties and watching KJ Edwards, and you start to see so many guys on this tape that play all phases of the game, that are contributing on offense, contributing on defense, contributing on special teams. And, you're losing a guy this year like Jared Kerr. Not a lot of people talk about him. They don't think that he's a big staple on the defense. But, Brauninger, I love that you talk about guys that can run, guys that are athletic, guys that can tackle and are explosive, because special teams is a huge part of this game. And some of these young guys that might not be, day one impact guys on the offense or defense are probably going to be contributing on special teams. And so finding those guys that can run, that are physical, that have a ton of experience in the game, I think it's a big deal. And I think that they recruit that way because we have good athletes on our special teams here. And I think it's good to see. We're losing a few of those guys through graduation and, who knows what happens with the portal. But adding these guys that can run like that are explosive is a big deal.
I'm looking at you right now, and there you go. And I'm like, it's like the bankers versus the bums.
Oh my gosh!
Like it's like a direct line of separation.
First time you probably grouped me and you in the same team.
Sometimes it happens. Yeah. You're talking about these DBs, right? And I had to pull up last year's. And a lot of these guys it's like we kind of stopped talking about them. We were talking about them in spring ball and camp, and then, because they were so veteran in the secondary this year, not a lot of discussion because they didn't see the field much yet. But Adonis Curry, Dejon Pedway, Jamar Beal Goins, and Kobe Sellers, right? Combine them with the three corners from this year. And like you said, Brauninger, because we had the same conversation about that pack of four last year, their speed really stood out. Their all-around athleticism really stood out. So now you've got 7 in 2 years in back-to-back classes. And you've got Will Lee on the way out as a senior. You've got Des Ricks will have a decision to make. He's one of those guys where how do you allocate your NIL? Because he could have the potential to have like an all-world season next year. Would really help himself to come back. He's been in college 3 years now. But so maybe one more year of Ricks. Tyreek Chappelle is done with his eligibility. So you're about to hand it over to youth at the position. That doesn't mean they won't go portal for some instant help, but you're handing it over essentially to youth at the position now. And that's what this class and today's class of 3 and last year's class of 4 will provide. And you're going to see the cream rise to the top there. But a lot of really exciting options. They've done a great job of reloading that position.
In the last couple of minutes, Samu Moala did sign, as did Madden Williams.
All the West Coast guys are starting to wake up and get their paperwork sent in. And so we're closing in on everybody.
Everyone is signed according to Nick Savage.
About 9:15 Central Time, we've had an entire class signed. And then, so if you're watching us and if you've been keeping up with us on the site, we are awaiting an announcement tomorrow from a running back out of the state of Georgia named Carson Baker.
Okay.
We were alerted to that yesterday evening, put a note out last night. This is a kid that was committed to Florida with the coaching change. He's since decommitted. I do have an update on the site from this morning. I don't want to spill that just yet, but it sounds like it's boiling down to a 3-team race. What I was told late last night before I went to bed is A&M has gotten enough traction to where there's some people that think it's a coin flip between A&M and Florida, but there's another team that's entered the mix. And in today's NIL world, there's a reason why they entered the mix, and it's a very interesting team. So go check that update, that thread out on the board. But he has announced he's making his decision tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So we may have some more news on this recruiting class. But it's really cool that they've got all 26 signatures in, and it's not even 9:30 this morning.
Let's do this. Let's hit a break here. Come back. We're actually going to take a detour the next segment. We'll talk a little bit about some news out there and also the college football playoff rankings, and then we'll get back on track here on National Signing Day.
Perfect.
Right now, Milliken Reserve Time, they're a farm-to-table community in College Station. They got homes, they got trails, they got farms, they got wide open spaces, and they have a mission to build a healthy community around nature. They're dedicated to the conservation of a healthy community, respect for the native landscape and the wildlife, with 2,600 acres of open space, farms, 30 miles of trails, and homes. They connect families with nature and to each other. And when you go there, you're going to see an extensive network of trails throughout a wooded landscape. It includes walking and equestrian paths, creeks, ponds, and gathering areas. It is a place that is committed to maintaining and restoring that natural habitat, and you'll see all the white-tailed deer you want, the songbirds, the rabbits, the turtles, and homeowners at Milliken Reserve sharing a legacy of conservation, which means no matter what generation you come from, each home will have that pristine countryside place. Check it out at millikenreserve.com. That website again, millikenreserve.com. Everyone, David Nuno here for Allen Honda. Had a great conversation with them earlier today. John Allen's the owner. He's been here forever. And also their GM, Rusty Skinner, great guy. Wonderful conversation. They're super local. They're a family-owned dealership, not some massive auto group. And they treat their customers like family because they basically are family. They're Aggie alums. They love Aggie sports, and they've been serving the Brazos Valley with integrity, with passion, and commitment to excellence for over 50 years, which is very rare, by the way, for the independents because people trust them. And that's why they've been doing it for such a long time. Whether you're looking to buy, lease, or service your vehicle, you can count on them for transparent, no-pressure experience that puts your needs first. And I can attest to it. Had a great conversation about my own situation with them. Their knowledgeable sales team will help you find the perfect Honda to fit your lifestyle, from fuel-efficient sedans to versatile SUVs. Leasing options are flexible and affordable, making it easy to drive the latest models with confidence. And when it comes to service, their certified technicians only use genuine Honda parts to keep your vehicle running at its best, whether it's routine maintenance for major repairs or whatever it may be. And we know that trust isn't given, it is earned, and that's why generations of local drivers right here in the Brazos Valley and Bryan College Station keep coming back to Allen Honda. As part of the community with Aggie spirit in their hearts, they are here to make everyone's visit wonderful. So visit their showroom or their service lane and find friendly, efficient, and memorable situations when you go to Allen Honda. Come see why so many College Station and Bryan drivers choose Allen Honda for their automotive needs, and remember, gig 'em. We're back here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Our National Signing Day coverage is brought to you by Holistic Planning. Our post-show meal brought to you by our friends at Bubba's 33 in College Station. Scratch-made food for all, stone-baked pizza, half-pound burgers, and teepees from wall to wall. It is Bubba's 33 in College Station. All right, so earlier we saw Billy Schefter, a.k.a. Billy Liucci, working the phones. We did have some a little bit of breaking news, Billy, if you want to start us off with what you've learned about Colin Klein.
Well, as of, so just a little backstory, what I wrote in the article, write-up I just put out was, let me check this while we're talking. Okay, yeah. So, what I was told was Monday night through exterior sources, let's say, that, but very valid, like 1,000% trusted, that Klein was actually taking the South Florida job. And before anybody says, because I've seen the comments, no, that was not a distraction for the Texas game. I believe that interview took place on Monday, to the point that I think South Florida was like, let's just head on back to Tampa. And luckily for Colin Klein, he didn't do that, because basically a day later, yesterday, news broke. Which news didn't break, but word got out in the coaching community and the agent community. I think more so the agent world, because it would have gotten out last night. It would have been on the message boards, on Twitter, all things like that. It wasn't. But Klein and his camp, or his agent or whoever, got word that Kansas State was coming open. And I don't know how many of you watched Kleiman after that Utah game. Did you see the presser, Brandon or Brawny? Reed, Nygren, Reese. He had a meltdown on camera. The SID had to come up and console him. He was crying. Said people should respect the job he's done more. Like, if you watch that now with news that he's set to retire, you can see that it just sense. Kind of the job kind of broke him. And hopefully that's all that it was. You know, don't wish bad things on anyone. Right. But that coming open led to Klein reversing course, pivoting, and now he will be, per everything I've heard, he will take over at Kansas State when all this goes down. So I got calls from a few national people since, and they're being very careful with their verbiage and wording in that Kleiman has not retired yet. And then there will be, so it's probably factual that Klein has gotten no contact from Kansas State yet. If that, so let these dominoes fall. But I don't think there's any expectation, per last I checked, I think everyone's prepared for him to leave and take Kansas State. And I think if he didn't know he was going to get that spot, I don't think he would have said, I'm going to take a shot at this thing and turn down USF, because I think the USF job was one he was going to go to. It didn't feel like the best fit for him to me, but at the same time, I was told by a couple people, well, actually, in that conference, in the American Conference, that's like the best NIL situation that there is. So you're playing in a pool with people that aren't on your level. Like, you've got way more resources there at South Florida, and you've seen what couple coaches have done there, most notably the guy leaving to go to Auburn, the Golish. So to turn that down, I think he had a pretty good understanding that he's going to be the next guy at K-State. And that leads to the most important question after that becomes, what about the playoffs? And it's my understanding that he'll stay and coach through the playoffs. So that much like Will Stein's doing at Oregon, who just took the Kentucky job. And it makes sense because with signing day today and the portal not opening till January, you can do that. Yep. And you can also double dip. For those that are like concerned about that, you do this, you see this with baseball all the time. Like, coaches, the timing it's not the same. Coaches can handle that because it's not a week-to-week game thing. Obviously, some things would be put on hold if A&M made it to, let's call it the Elite Eight, the Final Four, and the chance, like for those couple weeks, the stakes rise. And what better way for Colin Klein to kick off his career than to like help lead an Aggie offensive explosion in the playoffs that carries them, to a national championship game. So he can benefit a great deal from this as well as A&M.
And that on the heels of, 14 hours ago, finding out that A&M had been moved down to the 7 seed, Billy, and a lot harder road than initially expected, and you would need a lot of help to move up.
I think it's complete and total
BS.
I think Hunter Yurachek should be run out of college athletics. He's so bad. I mean, he's pitiful. And that committee is pitiful. Nothing they do or say matches up with anything that they do or say. Mm-hmm. You put a buffoon up there that can't answer a simple, basic question. When you accept that role, that is your damn job. And the guy before him couldn't do it either in Mack Rhodes. So these people, it's an embarrassment to the sport. I'm not sitting here claiming A&M should be in the top 4, sitting at 3, whatever. But like Brauninger was saying, the written criteria, those are like mathematical metrics in a lot of senses, most senses. And A&M far outclasses not just Ole Miss and Oregon, but even Texas Tech in a lot of those, but certainly Ole Miss and Oregon. And then there's the whole thing of you're really naive if you don't think the committee has been waiting for A&M to lose to drop them. You could tell every time they talked about A&M, they were giving themselves away. And I don't think it's like personal towards A&M, but A&M was a team they kept continuing to talk about. Meanwhile, Oregon keeps going up. They haven't played anyone with a pulse. Oh, they went and beat Iowa? Congratulations. This bottom of the SEC narrative that's out there, A&M played 4 Iowas, teams of that level. We're talking about the same Iowa that lost to Iowa State. Is that who we're talking about? Mm-hmm. Who I don't think beat anyone really of note. Indiana's toughest game was they went and played Oregon, and that's it. Their second toughest was Illinois. Where are they at right now? What's their record? Are they going to a bowl game?
Yes.
Yeah, they went and played Illinois. That's their second toughest game of the season. Because Penn State sure as hell isn't.
Illinois is 8-4 with a 7-point win last week against Northwestern.
Yeah. Oregon's played no one. Indiana's played no one. Quite frankly, Ohio State's played no one since they played Texas. I got no problem with them being number 1. I also don't have a problem with Indiana being number 2. But no one has commented on this committee or any of these talking heads about these team schedules or really parsing and doing a deeper dive into Texas Tech and BYU and doing what I always say, and the Texas and OU fans are now noticing. It's anti-SEC bias. Mm-hmm. They're getting credit because no one seems to want to call them out by, okay, I know you beat these teams that we're telling people are good, but collectively they haven't beaten a single team in college sports that matters. They haven't beaten a single team in the sport that matters as a conference, the Big 12. Iowa State over Iowa, and that's it. Okay? You can go up and down. Cincinnati couldn't beat Nebraska. BYU didn't play anyone. Utah didn't. They played UCLA. They didn't play anyone. Tech played no one. Kansas State lost to Army.
State.
Arizona State, who beat Tech, lost to Mississippi State.
Correct.
Who's at the very bottom. That's the team you're getting criticized for beating if you're A&M. So, again, you agree to do a job that should carry a great deal of responsibility, and you're treating it like it's your side hobby for fun, like people on Twitter do.
Well, Billy, let's not forget that the guy running the committee was in the middle of a head coaching search. Why is that okay? And then the previous committee chair,
a great job on that head coaching search,
was Mack Rhodes, who got punted out of his job for all the stuff he had going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's a total disaster.
It's a clown show. And all of this to say, A&M at 7, I thought they'd drop them to 6. I feared 7. You know, and unlike the head of this committee, I'm not going to make a stupid 19 or 9-year-old joke like he did. Okay? Yeah, Reese is over here. I'm not doing that. Okay? Because unlike Hunter Yurachek, I understand this is serious business. They screwed A&M by a spot or 2. You might say, I've said all along to people that, well, it doesn't matter. We don't want to be. It doesn't matter where we're ranked. It does. I said all along, there's that one spot really matters from the 4 to 5, and it matters from 4 to 3 when Ohio State's sitting there at 1. It all matters. And so, and the biggest thing is A&M didn't handle their business in Austin. I get that. But we're talking about a season's body of work. The Aggies should be ahead of both Ole Miss and Oregon, particularly Oregon. Ole Miss's body of work, in some ways, you can compare to A&M, but metrically, it actually doesn't. Mm-hmm. It just flat out by what they've said, it does not. Now, I can look at them and say, hey, their best win was over OU. That was their best win. It was at home. A&M's best win was over Notre Dame on the road. I would give a slight nod to A&M there because they're both ranked like almost back-to-back, but that's ever so slight. Their loss was at Georgia in a shootout game that they controlled for much of that game. A&M's was to a lesser Texas team, so I'll give that edge to Ole Miss. So fairly even. I'm okay with that, except they don't have a freaking head coach. And you can say you have Golding, but they don't have Lane Kiffin. They should have dropped per what they did to Florida State a couple of years ago, which, by the way, got Texas into the field, just if we're keeping score. Should have absolutely dropped Ole Miss a spot or two, and they didn't. So now here we are. So where are we at?
They're setting dangerous precedents with every ruling.
There's never a precedent, though.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like nobody's taking a hard line on any of this. And we were talking about it before.
And it changes on a year to year, too.
Why is Texas ahead of Vanderbilt, but Miami's not ahead of Notre Dame?
Yep.
There's no logical explanation.
And the other thing, there's a couple things they're setting up here, too. They're setting up for BYU, if they lose to Tech, to drop, and then boom, all of a sudden there's Miami and Notre Dame. So Notre Dame's going to be in all this time, and all they're doing is killing every team they play, and then you're going to fix it after neither one of them play on the last weekend? Because that's what they've set up now. Mm-hmm. I don't mind Miami getting in over Notre Dame. In fact, if it's 7-10, I'd rather play Miami. Not to say that A&M's going to walk all over Miami. I don't know if you've noticed, but they're playing a lot better. Like, that's that capable team of beating A&M if the Aggies don't bring it. But I'd still rather play them than Notre Dame. But I still think it would be complete BS to carry this out until the end of the season and have Miami just kind of do this every week and then cleverly set it up where they're one spot apart and then boom, flip them at the end. That would be it's so Bush League and amateur hour from these people. They are not the ones to be deciding who should be in the playoff and where they're seated. Now, what are we dealing with here?
Can we do that on the next slide?
Yeah, because we need to. I think it's pretty significant.
Yeah, let's do that on the other side. All right, right now to family-owned agencies dialed into TexAgs. Rollo Insurance Group is doing amazing work helping small agencies keep up with the slow-motion corporate takeover of the insurance industry. Tech markets, education, and succession planning are big challenges. But if you go to rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs, you can listen to Keith Lane's comments with Jackson Rollo that they did right here in studio a few months back. And at Rollo Insurance, Aggies are doing all kinds of work to help out other Aggies. If you are looking for new insurance, that's the place to go. 60 offices in Texas with their headquarters right here in College Station. 888-44-ROLLO. That is 888-44-ROLLO or rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. And we're back. Sorry, tapping my coffee cup here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Our National Signing Day coverage is brought to you by Holistic Planning. These Love Ya Bum highlights you'll see during the segment, brought to you by the Lucky Number 8 Productions. Love Ya Bum's a new sports documentary celebrating legendary football coach Bum Phillips with never-seen-before footage from Houston's iconic Love Ya Blue era, with interviews from players and coaches, including Earl Campbell, Gary Kubiak, R.C. Slocum, Peyton Manning, J.J. Watt, narrated by Dennis Quaid. The film explores Bum's legacy and lasting impact he made on the game. All right, we're going to...
Bum Phillips. I'm going to watch that.
Are you?
If you grew up in Houston in the 80s or I guess some people the 70s, you're watching that thing. Even you, Bronny, who's 90s.
Hold on, Ty. He's trying to make fun of me. Where's Bum Phillips from?
Beaumont. Port Arthur.
He coached at Nederland and PNG. Okay. Nederland Avenue, which turns into Port Neches Avenue, has now been renamed Bum Phillips Way.
Wow. Now,
Nederland and PNG play for the Bum Phillips Bowl trophy. It's a football with a cowboy hat on top.
That's actually really interesting. Really interesting. I don't know how it was making fun of you to say even you, born in the 90s, should be a Bum Phillips guy.
I thought in the 90s?
Well, I think he was. No, he was a 90s kid.
Oh, okay.
You know, like you, right? 90s.
I was 84, yeah.
So one of Bum's players, Earl Campbell, I ran into his son, Tyler Campbell, this weekend. He told me he almost came to A&M. It was like
from
this
Westlake.
close.
Was he from Westlake?
Yeah, it was this close to going to A&M, but at the very last
Earl
second,
Campbell?
The Earl Campbell.
Tyler Campbell was this close to coming to A&M.
Yeah, I said Earl Campbell's son, Tyler.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We would rather had Earl. But Tyler was a really good high school running back, and I think he would have been. I don't think he played it. Would he play at Texas just a little bit?
I don't think he played at Texas.
No. He ended up being a pretty good player. I forget where he went. I'm happy we got Emmitt Smith's son.
Yeah.
EJ Smith had. Man, I want to see more of EJ when when he gets going downhill, man. That was their best run of the day by far.
Yep.
Was his touchdown against Texas, and really gave A&M life because they were from the 14-yard line, and I was still skeptical they could get in. As we learned later, it's tough to throw on that defense down close. They weren't running the ball great. EJ just said, "No, we don't have to worry about it. I'm housing this thing."
I felt like he should have, in the second half of the game, should have progressed to him. I felt like Ruben, whether it was an ankle injury, whatever it wasn't his night. He's had some phenomenal nights and stepped up in a big way, but I was really hoping we started to feed 22 the rock more.
Definitely want to get your thoughts, Billy. What about now? What is A&M? What's the best they can hope for now? What kind of outcomes could position them maybe differently?
I just don't see a world where they'll put A&M over Ole Miss. They would have done it this week, so I don't think that's happening. Can they get to 6? Which is, I think, the optimal. I think there's one path, and it's not even guaranteed, barring total chaos. I think there's one path. It's BYU beating Tech. Some people are telling me, well, Tech won't fall that far. Tech's at 4. If they fall behind A&M, it's because A&M's at 6. They would only be dropping 3 spots, 4 to 7, with 2 losses. I think they actually would. The question then would be, do they just leapfrog BYU over A&M? Or do they really screw it? And then does Bama win and beat Georgia, and Bama and BYU leapfrog A&M, and the Aggies are a 9 seed? That's the nightmare scenario. I don't think that would happen either, but you don't want Alabama and BYU winning for that purpose. I frankly don't think either of those teams win, and then both of them doing it would be, I think even more of a reach. But if they did, I think, the nightmare scenarios in play. I don't think they would do that, though. And I don't think BYU would leap from 11 to 6, winning the Big 12. I don't. And then again, Tech falling behind, and then Alabama. I think they're going to remain at 7, would be my bet.
And then play maybe Miami or...
Well, it's interesting
It's
here.
unlikely you'll play Notre Dame.
It's unlikely because if Bama... Well, here's why. If Bama loses, I see no world where they don't fall behind Notre Dame. They might go out of the playoff, but I see no world where they fall behind Notre Dame. You probably stay in the playoff behind Notre Dame, and I think there's the most likely opponent, in my opinion, is going to be Alabama at Kyle Field. You might have a path where it's Alabama, Georgia, and it's hey, you want to prove everybody that you can also beat the top of the SEC? Here's your shot.
Yeah.
You can play Alabama at home and Georgia in New Orleans. That's probably the most likely setup.
All right, let me ask you a question, though.
The other one would be, go ahead.
Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
If they win, they go to 11-2. And if Bama wins at 10-3, you could look at Virginia as the number 10 seed.
What's Virginia ranked?
And a conference champion.
What are they ranked?
I don't have the
pull up the see it.
That's not crazy.
No, it's within the realm of reality, but I don't think because you could literally say, "Hey, Bama, you're the last team in this thing, and you are right here on the edge." They could also do that if Virginia wins the very conference that Miami's in.
Punt Miami out of there.
And punt Miami out. Now, did Virginia? No.
But that would,
who beat Miami? Oh, SMU and Louisville.
Yeah.
So you could also do that. But I don't think they'll jump them over Bama. They could. But I think Bama would be your 10. Now, if Bama were to fall out of it, then you set up that Miami. Well, you set up that Miami Notre Dame thing also anyway. I think in order of likelihood, it would go Alabama,
Notre Dame, Miami.
I'd go Miami.
Alabama, Miami. That might even go OU.
Mm-hmm.
Like if Bama were to beat Georgia, then Bama will probably jump A&M as the SEC champ in beating number 3 Georgia twice. I think they jump.
Where does Georgia fall to then?
I don't think they would fall below A&M.
Yeah,
I don't think they would fall below A&M, which is a whole nother debate to be had. But we know that ain't happening, right? So let's just call it what it is. I think that in order, I would say likely Alabama at Kyle Field, followed by maybe Miami, then OU.
What did they say? A couple idle teams that could move up or down based on the results of the weekend is what I believe.
That's their out to move.
So we're going to reevaluate every team after championship
Re-rank the top 12 after championship.
Come on,
how many of them are playing?
This should be as close to it as it is.
Yeah, right? It should just be
because you put one out every week. This doesn't have to be as close to it if you put out one and then one at the end of the year.
Yeah, yeah. You could literally just say, "Look, here's what." They should just sit there and go, we're going to see what Alabama does to see where we need to move them up or down, or what, we're going to watch the title games and see how it affects everybody. You shouldn't reevaluate to move a team down at this point that's not playing. Their body of work is done. Now, you could say, hey, if Georgia wins the SEC, Ole Miss's loss to Georgia becomes a little better. If see, this is another thing where these idiots say, "Hey, Alabama won the SEC, so now OU's win," and it pushed A&M back to 8, but OU beat the SEC champ, so we're going to flip flop A&M and OU because their resume just got better because they beat the SEC champion. I don't put anything past them, and I'm not trying to fearmonger over here, but you think those idiots are above that? They're complete jackasses, and I'm trying to use every word I can on radio. Because if I really wanted to go off on them, I would. They really, and it's funny because the fan base down in Austin gets it now too. After 12 years plus a year in the SEC, now 2, they finally understand what I've been talking about all this time. They're looking at these other teams going, "Are you serious? Like BYU would get in over us? Why is OU sitting that many spots ahead of us when we beat them?" And what about the Pac-12? How in the hell's Oregon where they are? Now they're doing the same thing. Like, why did we play Ohio State? And I know you shouldn't have lost to Florida. I know they had a stretch where they looked really unimpressive and it hurt their, like what people viewed them as.
Is there any lobbying?
They have a lot of legitimate gripes that are just, it's the way of the world in college football.
Is there any lobbying left that Sankey or anything that can be done to change minds? Or
why are they fighting for A&M when most of the teams they're fighting against are
SEC teams?
SEC teams, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, look, A&M's path's going to be really tough. I don't care. Like, I would have preferred, and maybe they'll get it in some world, I would have preferred 6-11 and get that 3 seed. For all we know, that 3 seed could be Ohio State. They could lose to Indiana. They could. Indiana has done some wild stuff in the last couple of years. They could lose to Indiana and be sitting at 3 and be the worst spot you want to be in for the second round. The goal is to win it. Are we just scared? Are we just scared that A&M's going to lose a playoff game at Kyle Field? So we want the easiest team out there.
I think it's the easiest path possible.
I would like it. I would love it. But at the same time, you don't know that that's what your path's going to be.
Yeah.
And I think we also don't know what Indiana really is. And I think we know they're actually really good. Like Indiana versus Georgia would be an interesting football game to me. We're all scared of Georgia because we saw them beat our dreaded nemesis Longhorns like a drum. But we're just throwing out what they look like all year, which is play a lot of teams that are on A&M's level or worse, really close into the fourth quarter.
Right. When it comes to preserving your farm or your ranch's legacy, it's not about capturing pretty pictures. It's about transferring the values of your land to the future generations that are going to inherit it. Chance McClain has interviewed thousands of people across America, and one thing he knows is that these aren't just businesses, these are blueprints for building character, whether it be your uncle, your grandfather, your mother, your family business, your family ranch, whatever it may be. Let Chance and his team do a 2-hour documentary that your family is going to be able to enjoy for the remainder of time. And that's for the future generations. Farm and Ranch Films captures the wisdom your grandkids are going to need. Visit yourheritagefilm.com and click on the Farm and Ranch portion of the website or call them up 713-893-8341 to preserve not just your story, but your family's foundation. It is Heritage Films. Let's talk a little Snaps clothing. David Nuno here, and I love wearing Snaps clothing everywhere. I've got the flannel on right now. You've seen me in the Tailgater collection with the A&M gear. It is fantastic. If you see me around town with my sons, Christian and Cruz, they've got a bunch of Snaps gear. When they have big games for Consol, they wear nice clothes, so they wear their Snap stuff. And I'm telling you, with baseball season here, let's all kind of go looking stylish and fit to the games there at Olsen wearing the Snaps clothing. As a reminder, they are the only official licensed Texas A&M Pearl Snaps maker out there. Their Tailgater collection is built for game day with breathable, moisture-wicking fabrics to keep you comfortable while you rep your Aggies in style. Now, whether you're watching the game from home or maybe you're in attendance, you're tailgating, whatever it may be, you got to make sure you head to snapsclothing.com to see everything they have to offer. It is fashionable, it is awesome, and you're going to love it. Oh, hey, I'm on camera. Welcome in to TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Bravo Insurance Studio, our National Signing Day coverage brought to you by Holistic Planning. We've got 1 minute, 20 seconds in this segment, which means I want to ask Billy a question. I'll ask Brandon Leone a question. Brandon, from the guys that you studied, just kind of give me a little bit of who like jumped off the tape for you, or video, I should say.
It seems like an obvious answer, but KJ Edwards, the running back from Carthage. I just believe that he's got next level instincts as a running back, his acceleration through the hole. He's got patience. He's explosive. I love that they're using him out of the backfield, motioning him out to the slot, throwing bubble screens. I mean, he plays into a lot of the things that we did or used to do offensively. We'll see what happens next. But I think he's a very dynamic running back, big-time playmaker from East Texas. Love to get guys from East Texas. So KJ, to me, is someone I'm super excited about, especially losing EJ, Amari, and obviously potentially Moss.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that running back was a massive priority. I'm with you. His highlight tapes, unbelievable.
Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, that's good.
So he reminds me of.
All right, we'll hit a break here. We'll come back with
mine.
Yeah, mine. What?
You asked who. I love. Yeah, you said who stands out.
I asked him.
You asked me too. If you rewind the tape.
Okay,
we'll come back.
Let's rewind the tape.
We'll come back.
We'll be back. All right, we're back here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Our National Signing Day coverage is brought to you by Holistic Planning. If you're an Aggie who expects nothing but the best and you want advisors who bleed maroon and white, you need to set up a meeting to see if it's a fit by visiting holisticplanning.com. Let's go straight to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. One of the newest Aggies who just signed this morning, Aaron Gregory, joining us on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Aaron, good morning, buddy. How you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
Doing wonderful, man. Thanks for joining us. What's today mean to you?
Man, it means everything. Like going through life and dedicating my life to the sport and finally being able to ultimately do a part of what I've dreamed of has been amazing, definitely.
Aaron, when you started, when you committed to Texas A&M, you've kind of been the Pied Piper, the most vocal guy about the class, about bringing guys with you to Texas A&M. Was that something that you had talked to Coach Elko about doing, or did that just kind of happen organically where you became essentially the leader of this group?
I think it just happened organically. Like when Coach Elko came from Duke, me and him had a wonderful recruiting relationship, like on the field and off the field, just the love for that. And then Coach Trooper and Coach Wiggins ultimately built that relationship with me also, and then it just traveled to A&M. So it was just it was already a relationship before everybody was at A&M in a way.
Yeah, and Coach Trooper played an enormous role. I know Coach Wiggins did as well, but just take me through your relationship with Coach Trooper and what that's meant to you and what it meant for A&M's chances to land you.
Me and Coach Trooper relationship is family for sure. I could call Coach Trooper anytime I want to, almost like my uncle in a way. And just that relationship and being able to have that relationship and on and off the field, it's not just an on-field thing. It's a both thing. And I feel like that's true love in my eyes. You need that relationship on and off the field. So that with Coach Trooper means everything to me.
And one of your last visits to A&M, the Aggies were still looking to add another receiver to this group. And I know you've gotten really close with Madden, but have you watched Mike Brown? Have you watched Jaden Warren? What do you know about these Texas guys that are going to be coming in with you?
Man, I know they're all ball players, and we all going to shine together no matter what. On and off the field, we going to show why we chose A&M and ultimately get to where we all dreamed of, the NFL. And I feel like Coach Wiggins is going to have a huge impact on that with us.
Aaron, you were obviously already all in, all things A&M prior to the season. How much more excited are you about it even today with not only the season they had on the field thus far, but what these wide receivers have done in the offense? Because it's really just the tops come off of it, so to speak. The passing game has really exploded this fall.
Definitely has. I'm very excited because before the season, you wouldn't think A&M receiver corps would be what they are right now.
Yeah.
Past years, you don't go to A&M for a receiver, but Coach Wiggins came and Coach Elko came and Coach Troop came and turned it around, and now it's a top program. It's the top program in the SEC and in the college football in all time. So being a receiver and being able to go in that program and shine, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, and Aaron, you were part of a Georgia contingent headed to Texas A&M. The Aggies continuing to recruit your home state. What do you think it is about this kind of Georgia movement to Texas here?
I think they found where the real athletes at, I feel like. And, Georgia football is different. You play from 4A up in Georgia, it's like you playing in college already because the boys you're going to be playing, half the team is Power 5 D1. So it's kind of like you once you go to the college that you're going to, it's nothing new for real because you've been playing against these kids your whole life.
All right, man. Well, congratulations on a great day. You've been, like I said, one of the most outspoken guys. You've been great with the media. David over here is kind of scared you're going to move to College Station and take his job.
Seriously. You're welcome anytime. We look forward to covering you and having you in studio and doing some more of these great interviews, buddy.
Definitely. Thank y'all so much.
Thanks, Aaron.
Appreciate you. Aaron Gregory on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. By the way,
go ahead.
Those highlights are brought to you by the Love Ya Bum highlights in partnership with Lucky Number 8 Productions. Love Ya Bum's a new sports documentary celebrating legendary football coach Bum Phillips, who coached at high school, college, and professional levels, ultimately transforming transforming the struggling Oilers in the 70s with his unconventional family-first approach. Excited to cover this young man.
Really excited. And by the way, Bum Phillips, best dressed coach in the history of
I agree
football.
with that.
But Tom Landry for different reasons.
I agree with that.
I miss those days, football coaches dressing like that.
Like Buzz.
Yeah, I mean, but a lot of basketball coaches do. Not all of them still do, but they all used to, and then a lot of them, some of them still.
It's one of his better lines.
Hey,
that was good.
Thank you, appreciate it. Can I bring up something
You
that
dress like Buzz.
Sometimes I do. I appreciate his suits. I do. I really appreciate his suits. Can I bring up something that may set you off at me or somebody else?
Sure. Why not?
Your good friend, Terry McCauley. Did you see his act on Twitter?
I saw that.
You know who that is? The official, the referee who's always on Twitter. I'm a clear what is this?
It's just crazy to me that this guy...
There's no game I look forward to commenting on more than the one that should occur. Number 10, Notre Dame versus number 7, A&M.
We've given this guy too much attention.
Yeah, the dude covers...
Can we talk about some of the kids that have signed today? We haven't done that.
The dude covers games, for a national prestigious network. Like, take your old ass off of Twitter. And that's coming from someone whose old ass is on Twitter. Like, Macaulay, if you're going to do TV, just get off Twitter, man. Get over it. Get over the missed holding. I kind of do want to play. Here's the thing that nobody says about Notre Dame.
See what you did?
Yeah.
Well, listen, man, we have a 3-hour show, and then we're going to do your show after. And we might do this one a little longer. So you might be sitting here with us for a few more minutes. We can talk all day. So
I'm going to come on your show and tell you what we should do next.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's how I am.
The hostile takeover.
See, it's a verbal flex, because if he flexes that tight shirt, it might rip.
Yeah, that is true.
At least I can.
Okay, so look. This guy's deal.
You're on both sides.
So here's the thing. This whole thing, I want to say one thing about this fear that our fan base has right now, because you can think that the team's screwed, which they were. You can think that the matchup and advancing just got a lot tougher, which it did. By the way, if you think that Virginia can't beat somebody, you're also crazy. That you go have a bad day as a 6 seed against Virginia, you get beat. Like A&M's played some halves and some football that a team like Virginia that believes can come in and take advantage of. It's not like this team or a lot of the OU, Alabama. It's not like a lot of these teams are above struggling with lesser teams. We saw it here a couple weeks ago, and we've seen it through half of LSU, half of Mississippi State. Like, no one, and that's the thing. Nothing has changed all year where Texas Tech sure as hell ain't invincible. Oregon, Ole Miss, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Alabama. I don't think Georgia is. I don't think Indiana is. Ohio State feels like it, but they don't play anyone to really know how they respond when tested. I think we know. But outside of the 8-9 and looking at the bracket and going, damn, we got a number 1, I sense, in addition to disappointment and frustration and acknowledging, man, the path just got tougher, I sense a lot of people scared. And I have a lot of people texting me like expecting a loss, and it pisses me the hell off. Like, you lost to Texas. You played a bad second half. You had some complete busting coverage. And you had 2 complete busting coverage, a blocked field goal, and a couple bad turnovers. You played a terrible second half. I know the field goal came in the first half. Half that game, you're up 10-3. By the way, the most shocking thing to me is in these last 2 years against Texas, the second half last year and the first half this year, 4 quarters of football, you held them to 3 points. You just couldn't get it done in the second half this week. You played bad. They played well. You were on the road against a top 15 team and a rival, and you lost. And they deserved to win, and you didn't. It's a 12-game season, and luckily it is more than a 12-game season. You were going to play a lot of teams on Texas' level to get to advance in this tournament. They're not any better. And they're certainly not better than A&M. In fact, one of the teams everybody's peeing their pants over in fear, you beat them in their house. And you could have Terry McCauley's ass crying about a missed holding call, and I would refer you to the holding call that wiped out a 100-yard penalty just 2 minutes prior, 100-yard kickoff return just 2 minutes prior, and A&M had to recover from. They gave up a blocked punt in the first 2 minutes. Completely shocking start that lit that place on fire in South Bend, and they fell behind by 10 points early, rallied and won. Okay? Imagine the difference between a Kyle Field advantage. So there's that. Have you watched Oklahoma play? Scary defense. One of the worst offenses in the SEC of late. Have you watched Alabama? Like, that is not Nick Saban's Alabama. All of these teams can beat you. Miami. But I think you're a damn fool if you don't think the Texas A&M team you've watched play all year, especially at home, has to be scared of whoever they play in round one. I think that's complete crap. I think that's that battered Aggie SH that needs to go by the damn wayside. Just get rid of it and embrace this game and give this team a home field advantage that none of these teams that are on your level, not better than you, can overcome. Let's cut the crap. And in that second round, look, hey, if the worst case scenario, if they win, is that you have to play Ohio State in the Rose Bowl, well, sign me up, because I wasn't expecting for A&M to start the year winning in front of Touchdown Jesus and end the year taking on Ohio State in the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day. So miss me with this stuff, man. Miss me with all this negativity. Get out of your feelings from what happened on Friday and just, like, this is what you wanted as an Aggie fan. We want this to continue. Players like the one we just talked to are going to help it continue. Embrace this and enjoy it and quit being scared. Tired of it.
Bronny,
Thanks, Bronny.
Would you like to go position by position?
Sure. Whatever you want to do. You're the host of this show.
Well, this particular show, I'm actually asking your opinion at this point.
We can start. We're about to talk to Helaman. I mean, I don't know if we've gone like super in-depth breakdown of
Let's
anybody.
talk receivers.
Okay, you want to talk receivers?
Sure, let's start there because I'm excited about. I'm probably most excited about that group. If they add the second running back today or tomorrow, that will be up there as well.
Okay, well, we were talking about. We talked to Aaron Gregory about Madden Williams, a guy at St. John Bosco, one of the most prestigious high school football programs in the country, and a guy who set their career touchdowns record for a receiver this year. Madden Williams, back-to-back years where he has gone over double digits in touchdown receptions, really increased his recruiting profile over the course of last offseason and then kind of doubled down on that with the production on the field. To me, he is very well-rounded is how I would describe his game.
I actually got a text earlier this season in September. Tim DeRuyter, who was D coordinator at Tech, I think right up till this year, right? Was it last year or the year before? DeRuyter he's off this year, so he's taking in some high school football, I guess, around the California area. And he said, Madden Williams from Bosco just went off on St. Francis of Baltimore, was named MVP of the game. He's a freaking dude. Nice pickup for the Ags. And that matches everything I've heard about him, what we see on tape. But DeRuyter, like, to get that verification from him, I put a lot more stock in it than what I even see, while I'm watching this stuff. I love what they've done between the way Aaron Gregory and Madden Williams can go get the football is like, it's eye-catching. And then I think they added incredible speed out of Houston with the late flip of Warren, who, Bronny, you were really Bronny was
high on him,
pretty high on, no, very high on him, was wanting A&M to make that move this summer, so we were pretty excited when they finally did. Because, and I think, do you think that had to do something with what happened this year on the field?
Sure, I think
how much of a difference Craver and Concepcion made with their speed.
Yeah, the perceived value that you were getting in him over the summer only enhanced with what you saw on the field with Craver and Concepcion. And Jaden Warren, he's 6'2", 195 pounds. He's run 10 100 meters.
It's insane.
This is built like a running back and runs like an Olympic sprinter. And by the way, the stuff he's putting on tape this year at Iowa Colony is they got another regional final game against Richmond Randall this week. The stuff he's putting on tape this year is showing like contested catch ability, which wasn't all that prevalent on the junior tape. It's not a skill set that I think you have to have as a receiver. I'm much more interested in guys that can get open and run away from people. But this kid, we moved him all the way up to number 15 in the state in our final rankings in the class of 2026. this is a special blend, man. This is a special blend of physicality and speed. And I'm of the opinion, Billy, and I've said this numerous times as an analyst, go find the fastest/best player in the city of Houston and get him every year. And I think more often than not, you're going to hit on that guy.
Yeah, and look, you look at the receiving core now and youth in the core. You know, Craver still has another year. Bethel Roman, Bussy. Now you're adding, Warren, and then this whole group. I think you're adding some size, plenty of size as well. You don't need giants over there, but they're adding size for sure. This receiving core is going to be really, really good. And that doesn't even count for guys like Isaiah Williams and TK Norman.
Well, can we talk about Mike Brown too?
Yeah, that's what I was saving him for last, because that's one that when they took him, didn't get you a lot of burn in terms of the rankings and but you look at, and I want you to talk about his physical development, but just seeing him from over a year and a half ago till now. And then watching what the type senior season he had and the numbers he put up, which compared to anybody, this might be the most, like if you just said, who's the most improved player, not just in the A&M class, but maybe in the class overall in the state of Texas, he would be on the short list there as well.
He's the most improved player I've ever covered that was coming to Texas A&M. Okay. And I've told Mike that. I've told Reggie that. Mm-hmm. And then you know how humble they are, Mike and Kerry. They don't talk about this stuff.
No.
And Reggie and Kerry. But Mike's routine, Nuno, would put you to shame with how his weights, his stretching, his recovery, his nutrition.
Why are you laughing?
You don't look like you're skeptical, but keep going, bro.
No, he's a freaking SEC athlete. Of course I would expect that.
But what has made him the most improved player is his dedication to the entire everything that comes with being a good football player. And what have we said about how Mike Elko and Derek Miller do their evaluations? Is he talented enough to play here? If that's a yes, does he love football? Well, he has gotten himself talented enough to play at Texas A&M because he loves football the way he does. I was so happy that they took Mike Brown. Because you're getting a low-maintenance, hard-working player that you're going to look up in a couple of years and he's on the field. Yeah. And you'll never once have a problem out of mom and dad. And his dad's one of the all-time greats that's ever walked through those doors.
Well, and if he and Aaron Gregory are both key parts of this receiving core in a couple of years, like you just heard Gregory on that interview, everything you just said about Mike Brown.
Look at the numbers.
Absolutely true.
57 for 1,200.
It's wild. If you have those two with that character in your receiving core, like that just set the tone for the whole offense.
All right, let's hit a break here. We'll come back. Break down some more positions on the other side. Then Helaman Casuga will join us at 10:35. Right now, a moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell, online at caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. There's car buying, and then there's the Caldwell Country Chevrolet difference. Their strong, committed sales staff brings decades of experience to the table, complete customer satisfaction. You have many folks that have bought their SUVs there. You've got folks that have bought the new Silverado at a price that you can't believe. You've also got all the great services that come along with your vehicle purchase at Caldwell Country Chevrolet, like their complimentary pickup and delivery, and of course that complimentary oil change for the life of your vehicle as long as you own that vehicle, and they treat every customer like family. It's like a 15-minute drive the edge of Bryan, beginnings of Caldwell. Short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the great people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell, online at caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. Our National Signing Day coverage is brought to you by Holistic Planning. And as I've mentioned, the highlights that you'll see on your TV is the Love Ya Bum highlights brought to you by the Lucky Number 8 Productions. All right, gentlemen, in a few minutes, we're going to talk to Helaman Casuga. I don't think we've really broken down his game. I know we asked Jamie McCoy a little bit about it at the top of the hour, or top of the show, I should say. You were very impressed when you got to meet him in person. Tell me a little bit about the young man and then his skill set.
I was impressed because he didn't play well, and that was the only game that they lost. The day I went out there, it was the only poor game he had all year, and they lost. And guess what? They rewrited the ship. They went through the playoffs. They beat the team, Lone Peak, that beat them. They knocked them off to get their lick back and win a state championship. The most impressive thing that I've been told about Helaman Casuga, and when you meet him and you talk to him, it definitely makes sense. When he went to the Elite 11 Passing Academy, he graded out the highest in a lot of the cognitive functions that they put those quarterbacks through. And the one where he graded out in the highest percentile, from what I was told, is the if-then statements. So his ability to process and think on his feet is extremely high, and you see that in his game.
Well, you saw it except for when the brawny Jinx rolled into town. He wagoned in there, and it's crazy, right, that he can have had that many turnovers in one game, and then when you weren't there, they beat the same team to win.
His numbers this year are incredible.
Yeah, no, he's been a hell of a get from day one. I think you can see the intelligence, the way he plays the quarterback position. He's got a feel for the game, a true dual threat in the way that like Marcel Reed is too. Like
he's polished, man.
He's going to look to throw. He's going to evade pressure and have a feel for it, throw the ball accurately down the field. He's on time. Yeah, polished is a great word, and I think poised is another one. This is a kid that comes off is also very mature. I love the addition. I think they settled in early on him. Ironically, it was Colin Klein and the offensive staff settled in early on him. I said earlier, I think this offense doesn't change much at all, and I think that's important to Elko, and I think ultimately that's why you're going to see Holman Wiggins be the guy. Not to state anything definitively, that's my thought right now. I think Elko's going to really be determined to keep that thing as steady and keep the momentum going as best possible. I think they love the offensive staff with Cushing and Trooper and Doherty and Wiggins, and Holman's been biding his time. And he kind of got away from Alabama and Nick Saban at the time. I was before Nick retired for that very reason of he came to A&M to ultimately be an OC either here or to springboard that somewhere else. So again, I think this offense I think it's going to look exactly as it has with some new wrinkles, but I think it fits Casuga much the exact same way that they've kind of adapted that thing to fit Marcel Reed.
One of the things about Helaman is he is a really, I said polished, like the efficiency with which he throws in, he's so far ahead of where Marcel was coming out of high school. And Marcel has made mechanical adjustments and improvements where this kid, it's pretty clean, man. And because of the way his arm works, he's really good off platform. I think if you go back and look at some of Marcel's throws that he's had to make off platform, he kind of sprays the ball. This kid is really comfortable rolling to his right and having to throw, drop his arm angle to get a pass out, that kind of stuff. He's just very well-rounded as a thrower. And again, I love the mental makeup and I love the decision-making and processing ability.
I think you have been telling these guys 10:30, right? So we'll hit a break here so we can get Helaman on the other side. I do think we need to hit some of the defensive guys we didn't get to earlier. I know Brandon Leone was going to talk some safety, so we'll do that to close out the show as well. So we'll hit a break here. We'll come back with much more here on TexAgs Live, our signing day coverage brought to you by Holistic Planning. Right now, if your organization or business is looking for an opportunity to engage with Aggies, then you need to check out the Association of Former Students. They bring Aggies of all ages together during their marquee events held throughout the year. We're talking Aggie Ring Day, All Aggie Hullabaloo, The Gathering. They all welcome tens of thousands of guests, and there are many sponsorship and vendor opportunities to get your brand in front of those attendees. And they offer a wide variety of both digital and in-person options to promote your brand. These options include title sponsorship, naming, on-site presence, activation, recognition, and social media posts. and much, much more. So if your business is ready to engage with Aggies, choose a partner with the organization that's been supporting the Aggie Network for over 140 years. For more information on options available through the association, please email sponsorships@aggienetwork.com. Our National Signing Day coverage is brought to you by Holistic Planning here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Our post-show meal brought to you by Bubba's 33 in College Station, scratch-made food for all, stone-baked pizza, half-pound burgers, and TVs from wall to wall. Let's go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Helaman Casuga, the quarterback, just signed with Texas A&M this morning. He's joining us here on the program. Helaman, how are you, sir?
Good. How are you?
Wonderful, man. I just want to start things off with, you've been very loyal to A&M since, October of 24. What was it about A&M that attracted you and you kept your commitment the entire way through?
Well, obviously, thank you for having me on this. But the biggest thing that I liked about A&M, and I still like, is just the coaches. The connection that they wanted to build with my family and I has been really special. And I think they're building something special down at A&M. We have a great recruiting class. I'm grateful to be a part of it. And just like the season that they had this year has been it just shows you the type of work, the type of people, and the type of coaches that they have.
Yeah, Helaman, I went out there and saw you play, and you had the worst night of your season. You guys lost to Lone Peak, and then you righted the ship in a major way and ended up getting your lick back and won a state title over that team that beat you. What changed, or what kind of wake-up call maybe was that loss? And then you kind of tie it to A&M season. They lost to Texas ahead of the playoff. One loss doesn't determine an entire season.
Yeah, that wasn't the best night for me. Wasn't ideal. Wasn't proud of my performance, but it was a good eye-opener on just how we need to attack practice as a team, and how we need to approach, how we watch film, how we listen in the weight room. All of that, honestly matters, and the little things matter too. How you hold yourself accountable on and off the field. So honestly, was needed. I mean, we want to go undefeated every year. We don't want to lose a game, but it's okay if you lose one, because it's a good eye opener. I think it's a good eye opener that we lost to Texas. I mean, I was pretty pissed off about that loss, but it's good because it's hard to go 17-0 to win the national championship, and the end goal is the national championship for A&M. So I think it was a good loss. I mean, it sucked, but it helped me to lose a little bit, a little humble piece of a pie. But it's all good, and it's definitely good for the team to experience that, and they're going to come back even harder.
Yeah, and then talk to me about your relationship with the receivers you're coming in with, Matt Williams and Aaron Gregory, most notably. How have you gotten on with them? How's your relationship grown with them and the entire class of commits?
Our relationship has grown really good, actually. Being able to just talk over the phone, hang out during the games when we were on game day visits. I'm super excited to build the relationship even more when we report to campus, to school, and all that stuff. But the relationship so far has been great. We have a great class. I think we have a really good bond with one another on and off the field.
Yeah, and we got your highlights playing as you're talking there, Helaman. What is your favorite throw to make? Because this highlight tape is layered with a lot of different type of throws. Is there one that you really enjoy, like when the play call comes in, like, okay, yeah, I like ripping this go ball or this seam bender? Is there one that you enjoy more than others?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm not picky. I'll make any throw that I have to make. I like all the throws that end up in the touchdown area. Yeah. So any throw, whether that's a slant and out, a go, comeback, any type of throw that's in the end zone, I'll take. So that'd be my favorite throw.
And last thing, we often talk about quarterbacks and how they fit with receivers and running backs and tight ends, but I want to ask you about how much did you look at A&M's offensive line and how much it improved as part of kind of helping you understand or helping drive home the reason why you picked Texas A&M? Because I got to feel like, you're only as good as the guys in front of you and how they're blocking. So did A&M's progression on the offensive line kind of help you nail down this decision to pick Texas A&M?
Oh, I mean, our line is phenomenal. I think the way they protect Marcel, it's pretty amazing. I mean, you guys see it on Saturdays. Marcel is getting no pressure. If he has to move, he has to move. But that's part of the game, and that's part of our job. But shout out to our O-line, and we have a couple great recruits as well that just signed with us, O-line wise. That I'm excited to get to work with them, get to build a relationship with them off the field. So, and that definitely was a big part of my recruiting, just like looking at the O-line and who we have in that room. Because at the end of the day, I can't do my job if it's not for those guys. So shout out to those guys. They don't get as much love as they need and deserve. So just shouting out to the O-line.
Helaman, we appreciate your time, man. Congratulations on a fantastic senior season and a state championship, and we'll see you in Aggieland soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
That is Helaman Casuga on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. We haven't done this all show long. We're going to go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center.
Hey, he's over there.
Reese
there's
Nygren
been a
is there.
person sitting over here the entire time. He just hasn't said anything yet.
I'm sure there's been some texts, questions, comments, something. I'm giving you time to tap dance to find it, about the recruiting class. So we'll hit an early break, but let's at least get one or two in here so Bronny can react on TexAgs Live.
Oh, I thought you meant after. I thought you meant after.
He said we're hit an early break and then.
Oh, we're going to hit an early break, but I'm going to give you an opportunity to say something because then Billy will take a long time.
I mean, a lot of people are commenting on just like the character of guys that we've gotten on the phone, how well spoken they are, and how a lot of them have mentioned the coaching staff being the biggest part. A lot of people want to know like a few comparisons that you could make to maybe former Aggies or just collegiate players.
Yeah.
Now.
So this is something I like to do, is make player comparisons. Jason actually hates doing it.
Okay.
So I'm the right recruiting analyst.
So when I ask him, he gets mad. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
I said Alvin Kamara for KJ Edwards earlier. I like Bryce Perry Wright is an interesting one because he's so versatile, but he's kind of like a wrecking ball build. He reminds me of Tyler Onyedem in his build, but he's got more juice to his game than Tyler does. And then like Aaron Gregory, it was a tough comparison for me because it's Josh Reynolds, but like a better, quicker version of Josh Reynolds, side to side. But down the field, when he opens up his stride, it's going to remind a lot of people of Josh Reynolds. That's just a few off the top of my head.
And then just kind of what this class looks like in comparison to other SEC schools.
Yeah, that's always an interesting question because I'm not a big believer that there's much difference in class number 5 and class number 12. Like, what are we talking about here? The margins that you're looking at, and you're assigning numbers to rate these classes. You're assigning numbers to humans is essentially what you're doing. And the team with a higher number gets rated higher. But these classes are spread out, and it's kind of like an inexact science to begin with. I don't think there's much of a difference from class 5 to class 10 or 11 or 12, and especially now that you've got some of that mitigated by the transfer portal. But this is what you're looking for is, are they bringing in enough talent to continue to compete at the upper echelon of the SEC? I think that answer is yes.
I agree with that, especially when you combine it with the portal. I love what they did on the defensive line. I would have liked to have seen them add Ford there at the finish line to kind of mitigate and counter the loss when they lost Gregory's teammate
Jordan Carter
a month ago.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen that, just to counter that. And but I think that, again, you're going in the portal for defensive line help this year, without question. You lose what? Hayes, Searcy, and most notably Howell. You lose Regis, Onyedem. Like, there's no question defensive line portal is going to be an area they go heavy after. You love a couple of the young guys you've got, particularly some of these true freshmen, and you supplement them. I love Bryce Perry Wright. Tristan Givens is one of the guys I was going to mention. Nuno, just he's that get off and twitch he's got it's pretty special.
They added a guy that you've been wanting them to add in Jermaine Kinsler and like a Jaden Peavy. There's another comparison.
Height on the inside. Yeah, I looked at kind of like what Texas was able to do last year with Alfred Collins. Just one of those long, quick for the size type guys that you see throughout the SEC. They didn't have, even this year, A&M doesn't have much length on the defensive interior. Now, those guys have been really good, I think if you mix in a guy like, like if DJ Sanders were a year from now, and he's not like 6'6" type guy, but he's tall, really long, like him a year from now, I think would have really helped on this year's defensive line. So
go watch him run on that block punt against Samford. Go watch him chase the play.
He's really athletic.
He's super athletic.
I like what they're building along the defensive line a lot. We talked about cornerback. I think corner, D-line, receiver, running back, to me, really stand out. And again, they're going to supplement that stuff with portal. So you want to be careful not to overload with youth at positions anymore as well. And that's something I think people need to realize too, like this recruiting thing is now a moving target for every program in the country as they decide in their own way how they want to balance portal with recruiting. As you start to realize, like, is it worth taking too large a number out of high school? Like, I like the mid-20s. I don't like getting up into the 30s anymore.
Well, there's also you're balancing a budget between both of them now too.
Yeah, that's what I said at the beginning of the show. Like, you have to be able, or when I got here, not the beginning of the show, you have to be able to understand how you're going to balance this thing. And I think that's one thing I feel very confident with A&M. They know Elko is very meticulous about that. And if you've met Derek Miller, he's the same type personality, very meticulous. They know exactly, not exactly, but for the most part, know exactly how much they want to spend in terms of the current roster and what you can return and what's possible versus recruiting. And then mix in the portal into that. So it's like a three-prong, it's technically two because it's 2026 roster, which includes this freshman class. So that's kind of broken up into two parts. And then you have portal. So
All right, we'll hit a break. We'll do one final segment.
we'll probably do more.
And we'll do more. One final segment on radio.
Okay.
Then we'll just do an extension.
Everybody in here stinks today.
Now, he asked for juice when I walked in, and I gave him too much juice. You haven't.
Everybody in here stinks. Like, it's just negative. Come on, you saw it, and you agreed with me.
And now I'm
And
part
now
of it?
you're part, yeah.
Well,
Well, the show's over. We're done. Show's over. We're done. Well, David, maybe we'll do more for the subscribers. No.
I don't remember saying that. In fact, I said we'll go do an extension. That's what I said.
Yeah, it's like we'll go do an extension.
Buddy,
I guess we'll keep talking about this recruiting class.
You know what? I'm just going to keep this segment going. Can we zero in on him?
Well, hold on. Why?
I just want the close up on him. There we go. Happy Billy. Happy Billy. We'll come back.
Signing day. Let's go.
Did you see the
fired
intro?
up about it.
I slapped the table.
I'm very fired up about
Jason Williams, Duke's defense, circa 2000.
Yeah, hang on before I get blown by.
Watch this. Watch this. I'm going to do this, and then it's going to go to break. Ready? Final segment of our radio edition and our YouTube edition of our signing day show, brought to you by Holistic Planning. And as you've been told, our highlights have been brought to you by these Love Ya Bum highlights, and that is with the Lucky Number 8 Productions. Okay, final segment of the radio show. Bronny, we've got 7 minutes before we go to our overtime show. What are some final thoughts you want to do for the radio waves?
Well, it's overarching theme would be team speed, continuing to improve their overall speed profile on the roster, and then seeing what has been successful on the field and sort of mimicking your recruiting class to match that. With, like Billy said, a few outliers, like you don't have a 6'6", 6'7" defensive tackle. Well, you went and signed one, right? You don't have like a super big physical long outside receiver. You went and signed one. So there are still some areas that I think maybe the coaching staff and Derek Miller thought this roster might have been short a player or two. Kicker. They're addressing this stuff that they think that, okay, what did we do well on the field? Let's go and do a lot more of that in recruiting. But where are our roster holes, and what can we do to add to the depth to fix those pieces?
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, when we're wrapping up here, when we come back, I want to rip through. Do you want to rip through positionally, or is that when I come on this afternoon?
That's what we're going to do this afternoon. It's like break down player by player, position by position.
Then I'll come in and we'll do, you got Howell, you got 90 minutes, I'll do 30 minutes of that.
So Billy's on the B team today.
Oh my gosh.
Breaking news.
Added to it's a B addition to the B team.
B plus addition to the B team.
I'd call it an A plus.
Reese Nygren's a avid listener of the B team.
We're listening.
We need any and every soul we got.
Yeah.
But Billy should improve
Reese
on it.
could be on it, I feel like.
He could definitely be on it. Might give us more pizzazz than the normal co-host.
You got a little more personality.
Can I ask a question that you may not be able to wrap up in 3 minutes? But co-host, host. There's a difference, okay? Host, then everybody else is the co-host.
I thought we were talking about Zane.
He was talking about me. He looked right at me and said it.
I actually meant you with the stat, Zane with the personality.
Okay. Anyway, have we, and I haven't done a dive on this, so I don't know. The traditional powers that typically have done well signing day, right? The Georgias, the Alabamas, the whatevers. How do their classes look? Also, when we're thinking about the portal, right? Because if you can't go all in on your high school guys, how do the traditional powers compare on both of those?
Well, right now, USC's got the number one class.
And they stink.
And they've got 35 commitments.
Okay.
And USC is spending a lot of money on their recruiting class. I've talked to other people out west. What's he say?
He said, I don't have to break. We can just roll through.
Okay.
Jesus was talking to you.
I've heard other people out west say, hey, USC now is just, they go sign Booby Feaster out of Dallas. So I think you could just tell, I really think you could tell one to be an Aggie, and he's going to be a USC Trojan for dry fit brisket, dry fit Lincoln Riley, who's just been miserable there at USC. He's done just a pitiful job, and there they are at the top of the ranking. So you know why they're there. There's no secret, no question about it. Go through the rest of those teams, Ronnie. It's all
Notre Dame's too. Good class for Notre Dame.
That's a really good class for Notre Dame, and I see why. Okay, here's the deal that I was going to talk about. Who the hell's that? There's a lag. There's a lag. Notre Dame played for the national title last year, and here they are, number 2. Texas A&M, most of this class was done when this season started. We talked to Aaron Gregory about that. He signed on for A&M before he saw what Craver and Concepcion and Bethel Roman have done in this offense. He signed on before A&M beat Notre Dame and raced out, went and won in Death Valley and raced out to be 11-0 in the top 5 until the committee got their mitts on them after a loss. But A&M, this 27 class, as I know Bronny and Howell have talked about a lot, but it is really shaping up to be a strong one, like a really, really strong. And that's that lag factor, because by the time A&M plays a football game next August or September, whenever that calendar starts, they're going to have almost a full class that was built on the heels of this playoff run and whatever comes of it.
All right, so we're just going to keep rolling through.
Okay.
So if we're not doing position by position, can I just start throwing some names at you and we kind of just chit-chat about some of the names we have not done today? Is that going to work for everybody?
You want to do all of them or just a couple of them here?
We can do whatever you want.
It's up to Billy.
What do y'all want?
I'm just going to throw you some names.
You want to talk? I think we need to talk defense for sure.
I want to, yeah, because we've talked corners, we've danced around the D line a little bit. I'd like to talk this linebacker class too, because I think it's very important what they're trying to do at linebacker. I think that's a position where I'd like to see the stable continue to upgrade at a pretty rapid level, rapid rate.
Well, you want to start off with Storm Miller? Do you want to go?
You pick, brother.
Okay, well, Storm Miller it is. That's what I'm picking.
The guy from Strongsville, Ohio. Not a coincidence that David picked him first.
Storm from Strongsville. Like, this dude better be really physical, and he looks like he is on tape.
And he carries an air about him, like throwback mentality. Older brother plays at Clemson. Like, good football DNA, good football bloodlines. The Aggies won out over Clemson, Notre Dame, Stanford, Ohio State. Made it a little bit interesting early in the fall, but I don't know that he ever got a huge push. But what's interesting about Storm is there's half of his highlights are off the edge. The other half for him is off the ball backer. I think he's going to start off the ball for A&M. And, man, like, it's just a hard-nosed, sock you in the mouth, down-to-down type of backer. But it's not like, you know, I would say Torian York's kind of like that, but this is like, he's 6'3", 220. Like, this is a
I saw him one day.
out.
I saw him one day at practice and didn't realize, like, standing there and saw him. It was like a couple days before he committed, and was wondering, like, who is this dude? Because you could tell he was a recruit, and you could tell he was a really good athlete. I almost was wondering if he was like a dual threat QB, and then ended up seeing his name tag and realizing, damn, that's the linebacker. Like, he is a tall, really, like you said, he can play off the edge. He's rangy, athletic as well. And I think I'm fired up about this one. He does remind you of like a Big Ten linebacker or a Notre Dame linebacker.
Well, let's just call it what it is. Look at the schools that A&M beat out. And how many of those have big-time white linebackers? All of them.
Well, and how many of them play great defense?
Right, but you just look through them.
Yeah.
Ohio State, A.J. Hawk, Andy Katzenmoyer.
You're going back 20 years.
But
I'm talking about right now, just like he plays a Big Ten, let's say Midwest style. He could be Vietnamese and be Dat Nguyen. I don't care. Like, he's a freaking, like, tall, physical,
good-looking kid,
versatile. I love the down. It just reminds me of a big, like when we played Notre Dame the last couple of years. Like, that's the type guy, and I think that's been lacking for A&M. I think they've got guys that can really chase right now, and they're getting better and better when you start implementing more like Damian Sanford, and if Scooby gets healthy, like these guys that can really run and hawk things down and chase and make plays. But there's still not a lot of length there at the position other than Damian. There's not like a ton of length in guys that can like just that play that downhill, helmet to helmet, pad on pad.
Like a thumper.
Yeah, and he can do both.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's got that and that ranginess. So I'm a big fan of Storm Miller, and I think, like you said, I think he's bringing something to the linebacking stable that they don't have, and I think Noah McHale will do that as well.